Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Winston gets the snap. Fake to Chubb. Rolling, throwing, intercepted in the end zone. It's grabbed by Barton. Here he goes the other way. Barton on the numbers, the 20, the 30, the 40. By midfield, chased and tackled. Another interception, and that'll be all she wrote. Another interception thrown by Winston, this time in the end zone.
And that did it. Thank you, Kevin Harlan on Westwood One, one of the absolute best. And yes, that was the third interception that Jameis Winston threw in the game. Perloff, 2 pick sixes, and then that game ender. And the Broncos have 8 wins on the season. Good morning.
Good morning. You called it, Maggie. You said this game would come down to a Jameis Winston pick six. I said you were half right because you didn't say 2 pick sixes.
Extra credit.
Yeah, and let's face it, I think the Browns fans are relieved there were only 2 pick sixes, but you never know with Jameis.
You never know. He's an adventure. And, you know, last night ended up being a very fun game. I think when the teams were kind of trading body blows at one point with these big passes and big touchdowns and back-to-back big air yards, it got really fun. But ultimately, Jameis is going to cost you more often than he wins it for you. And that's why he's a backup in this league. But I think the bigger takeaway from last night is not really about the Browns. The Browns season is off the rails, and that happened a long time ago. I think the bigger takeaway really for me is the Broncos. And I get that it's not exactly the who's who of teams that they've beat on their schedule, but they beat them. And Sean Payton is a dangerous head coach, and Bo Nix looks like he can play in this league. The dude's still a rookie, so he's making rookie mistakes, and he threw picks last night too. But
still a rookie. He's approaching retirement. He's 40 years old.
I forgot he played 12 years of college football.
But anyway, I hear you.
But I think he's shown that it's not too big for him. I mean, there was a moment last night where they have a 1 point, they're down by 1 point in the fourth quarter, okay? The Broncos are trailing by a point. And they get down to like inside they were, around the 30 or something like that, 25. And it's a 4th and 1. And Sean Payton goes straight to the call sheet. And it took, I think, somebody from the front office, from the booth, radioing down saying, hey, Sean, the analytics say kick the field goal here. Don't go for it. He was going to go for it. And then instead they call the timeout to kick the field goal. To me, it looks like he's got a lot of faith and a lot of, he trusts Bo Nix, I think.
I was actually very surprised. Does the analytics ever say kick the field goal?
No.
I've never seen, and when Troy Aikman, the broadcaster, said that, I was like, wait, the analytics actually want to go for the field goal? And it turned out, by the way, very risky too, because, you know, the Browns should have stormed down and scored there, at least for a field goal. Like that easily could have not worked out. If Jameis Winston didn't throw his final pick six, then that plan, it was a real tough call. I'll bet you that was like, I understood Peyton going for it there. Anyway, it did work out, but I know you're talking about the Broncos, like this is an impressive thing, but you have to look, you cannot ignore their schedule. I mean, this is crazy. The Browns are not a good team. I know they look exciting and fun, but they are a bad football team, and their record shows it.
Okay, they are a bad football team. They also had a guy last night who was clearly on a mission, which is Jerry Jeudy, who was amazing last night. They put the graphic up on the show, on the game rather. Well, it's a show too. He had 9 receptions, 235 yards, and a touchdown on 13 targets. And they said that this is the most productive in terms of yardage, the most productive game that a wide receiver has had facing their former team, up there with Terrell Owens and Irving Fryer, which was a fun throwback. But Jeudy was a man possessed last night, and the Broncos defense, which is usually good, was not very good outside of the 2 pick sixes on Jameis, but they were not very good, and they found a way to win the game. I can't fault this team because, you haven't played the who's who. Meanwhile, they should have beat the Chiefs. All right, if not for a blocked field goal, they would have had a signature win. And
the Chiefs are who again?
The two-time defending champs.
They're two-time defending champs who are not even paying attention at this point of the season. They're just waiting for the postseason. You say all that, and it's absolutely true. But this is I mean, you look at the schedule, the teams that are winning are playing the AFC South and the NFC South. And this is purely, the Broncos have beat up, I think, on the NFC South. So they're 8-5. They'll make the playoffs. But do you really think that they make a run there? That's the question. So what does it mean making the wild card and losing? I think the Bo Nix development is great, but the actual wins this year are somewhat irrelevant.
See, I disagree. I think it's a big deal for a team that I think the over-under for wins was like 5.5. For them to already have 8 and to make the playoffs with a rookie quarterback, that is really hard to do. It represents a massive step forward, and it also represents that, listen, you've got 3 unbelievable coaches in one conference. Right. Andy Reid, Jim Harbaugh, and Sean Payton. And I think it's important in the AFC West. And I think it's important for the Broncos to try to keep pace there. You don't want to be falling behind. Listen, the Chiefs are a wagon. But Jim Harbaugh is now in this division too, and they also have 8 wins. So I think it's an important step to announce that you're not just going to let these other 2 teams kind of trounce all over you and that you are going to be a factor. And I'm not expecting them to go on a Super Bowl run, but Sean Payton is not a bad coach.
No, I'm not saying he is. He's the most expensive coach in the NFL. He better be a good coach.
That's true.
Yeah, but I just think that, they'll make the playoffs at 10-7, probably lose in the wild card round, and then you're going to have a lot of hype next year, but the schedule will change. You switch from the NFC South to the NFC West. You have maybe a second place schedule, depending on what happens to Chargers.
Yep.
There's just a long way to go. It's really hard to tell. I guess the bar has to be Super Bowl if you have Sean Payton as your head coach.
But not in year 1 with Bo Nix.
Right. No, I'm not saying this year, but generally, I think they're going to have a lot of hype in the offseason.
Totally.
And
it'll be deserved, I think.
But the thing is, are you picking them in the top 2 teams next year? They're going to be stuck behind probably the Chargers and the Chiefs. I just don't know. I think they're a big TBD. I'm not wildly impressed by some of these wins.
855-212-4227 if you want to weigh in on the Broncos. And do you find this season impressive? We'll just tell you, we've been talking about what are these wins? Well, obviously they play their division. The other W's that they have, they went to Tampa Bay and won.
Bad team.
At that time, that wasn't a bad team. Tampa Bay beat the Lions, don't forget, early in the season. They went to the Jets and won 10-9.
Terrible
which
team.
was an all-time horrible game, too. But listen, they go to New Orleans and win. And
you forgot the Raiders.
Yeah, they beat the Raiders. I said the division.
Oh, okay, yeah.
At New Orleans.
Horrible team.
New Orleans was still at that point. It was like, well, they got off to this interesting start.
I think that might have been a Rattler game.
Possibly.
Yeah,
Carolina.
that was a Spencer Rattler game. Obviously bad.
Okay, they obviously lost to the Ravens and the Chiefs, but there's no, that's not a shame in that.
Right.
Atlanta, they cooked at home.
A horrible team.
Atlanta didn't even show up.
Atlanta stinks.
Atlanta might win the division.
Atlanta stinks.
And listen, we'll see what they do. They have a bye now. Indiana at the Chargers, at the Bengals, and finish the season with Kansas City.
So they're
making the playoffs
0-5 against winning teams.
I don't even know why I have to justify this. I feel like making the playoffs for the Broncos with a rookie quarterback, even if you have Sean Payton as a great head coach, that's a big deal.
Is it?
Caleb Williams isn't making the playoffs.
Almost, because his schedule was so weak for a while. He beat up the Panthers too.
But are we picking apart Jaden Daniels and saying, wow, maybe he shouldn't win Rookie of the Year because he got to play the Titans last week? No way. We're saying he plays great. Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury might get a head coaching job off of Jaden Daniels. Like, why would we be treating the Broncos any different?
No, it feels different. Because you have Sean Payton. I think they're going to get a lot of hype, and I think that the reality is I think Vegas is going to view them skeptically come playoff time.
I'll be fair. Well, Vegas will.
I mean, also like this Browns team that we saw last night, they made the playoffs last year and they weren't headed anywhere.
That's true. But I mean, Joe Flacco won Comeback of the Year. Stefanski won Coach of the Year. People were impressed by what they did.
Until they got the doors blown off them by the Texans in round 1, who weren't even a great team last year.
Yeah, it turns out. But yeah, well, the Texans were a good team last year. But I think that, listen, you want to ask me personally, if it's the 7 seed Denver Broncos and it's Sean Payton coming to play my Buffalo Bills, yeah, they'll probably be an 8-point favorite, but I'm not feeling good about that. Sean Payton went into Buffalo with a way worse team and beat them in the regular season last year. I think Payton, you always have to have some respect because he's a proven playoff winner.
I think they're very similar to last year's team, who just had, what were they, 7-10 last year? And they were sort of right around 500 with Russell Wilson. They're just maybe a scunch better. But I'm not sure.
They were 8-9 last year.
8-9. And they'll be like 10-7 this year, mainly a function of their schedule. They're a very similar team. He's a good coach, but I'm not sure I see the basis of a Super Bowl team. So I'm talking about elite. It could be there. It's just I'm not exactly sure what the path is. Like it's still it's in the infancy, right? Like, do you
that's
see?
Exciting. You could see it as a negative. I see that as a positive. It's been dark days in Denver. The Russell Wilson thing was a total bust. Nathaniel Hackett may go down as one of the worst head coaching decisions of all time, and they found their way out of it. Now they had to pay handsomely to get Sean Payton, but they did it.
Yeah. Well, okay. Congratulations. Right. Have a parade down Denver. I think they are the absolute classic schedule make the playoffs team. And that's fine. And I think it's exciting that Bo Nix is good. That's all that really matters. But that being said, and obviously Bonito is like a superstar. I don't even know how to stop that guy right now. But generally, I'm not looking at this team as a great team.
No, I don't think they're a great team yet, but I don't think that's where the bar is for them at 855-212-4227. But, it's not like they're all unproven. Because, Bo Nix is unproven. He's playing very well. But their head coach is proven, so I think that is what makes me fear them a little bit. Healthy respect. How about that? Healthy respect for the Broncos this year.
Yeah,
listen, a worse team, a dysfunctional team. Think about how bad it was last year. You got Sean Payton wanted to bench Russell Wilson for injury guarantees, so they don't have to pay him out. And Russell Wilson goes to the media, says everything, airs everything. I mean, it got embarrassing, and that is so far from where they are now.
100%. But say they lost last night and Jameis didn't throw all those pick sixes, they'd be 7-6 with basically the same record as last year.
Yeah, they'd be fighting with the Colts to make that final playoff spot.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of where this team should be.
Yeah. Again, it's all about Bo Nix, and he looks great. So that's good. But also, too, they're supposed to have a really good defense. Last night was kind of weird. They let up how many yards total? What was it? Final? Jameis threw for 500, and they ran for 77. So that's a big number.
But they also
defense.
had the 2 pick sixes, so it's weird because, yes, the defense was not what it usually is.
Yeah, except the Ravens also did that to them. Like, the defense can be had. It's an interesting team. I'm very curious. Like, I feel like Sean Payton's going to have to cook up something to stay in the game with the really good teams.
He can't do an onside kick now because those only can happen in the fourth quarter when you're trailing. So he can't pull his signature surprise onside kick move.
So based on the schedule, they're 8-5. They'll probably beat Indianapolis in Denver. Now they'll have 2 games against winning teams. They'll have the Thursday night game against Chargers, then Cincinnati, who will probably be mailed in at that point, and the Chiefs. They have to win one of those 2 games, the Chargers or the Chiefs. Then I'll buy in, Maggie. Until then, they're okay.
All right. 855-212-4227. How about the Browns, just quickly, at 3-9? It's like everyone's flummoxed about what to do with the Browns. You could hear it last night with Troy and Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. The quarterback situation is just, it's like going into a maze, and good luck finding your way out of it. They still owe Deshaun Watson tons of money. I don't even know if he's at the game. Did they even put him on camera? Did you guys see him?
I didn't see him.
I don't think he's at the game. I've never seen him in the stands.
Right. So rehabbing, or maybe it's not safe for him to be on the sideline. I don't know. I mean, it just feels disconnected from the team, obviously, and they need something else because it's not going to be Jameis.
Well, I mean, I was thinking about this morning. Maybe they run back Jameis and Watson just like last year. Because what is your other option? They might not get a draft quarterback because there are a lot of teams that need to draft a quarterback, and there aren't a lot of quarterbacks. So do they sign they can't really sign a veteran free agent because all the money's tied up into Deshaun Watson, where I think why not run back Jameis and...
Because you're going to keep losing.
Well, Jameis is going to cost... Jameis is a free agent, I believe. He's going to cost like $11 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but like, what's your better? Give me another option.
That's what I'm saying.
A second-round
it's like
quarterback?
walking into just like a pricker bush. I don't know.
I mean, and what is the underlying reason? It's the Deshaun Watson contract.
Oh yeah, no, that contract is awful, terrible, and he's played terribly.
Yeah, I mean, when he's even out, he hasn't even really played. So it is a tough spot. There are some good players, like Njoku's good. By the way, Jerry Jeudy. I know Jerry Jeudy really well. Like, he will have a 200-yard game and he will disappear. Remember when he was at Alabama and he played Michigan in the bowl game and just was uncoverable, had 210 yards or something? I wish I could see that Jerry Jeudy every week. I do blame that guy.
He was motivated last night.
Yeah, he is quite inconsistent. He was amazing last night, though. By the way, if you're the Browns, like, you got to cover Jerry Jeudy on the sideline. Like, at what point do you put a second guy over there, Maggie?
I don't know. They were talking about it.
I mean, sorry, you're the Broncos,
Surtain.
yeah.
Yeah, Patrick Surtain. You have one of the best cover corners in
Yeah.
the entire league. Was not matched up with him the whole night.
Yeah, good buddies, apparently. And when he was matched up, I think Jeudy took advantage of him. Yeah, that was funny. At the end of the game, the Aikman said, "Oh, now they're double teaming him." I'm like, a little too late there.
Yeah. Do you consider this Broncos team a success? Does this feel like it's trending towards something? 855-212-4227. I know we have a lot of Bo Nix fans in our audience. I think Broncos fans, but definitely Bo Nix fans. You guys have to be thrilled about what you're seeing. Perfect marriage, quarterback and coach. And he's got the demeanor, you know?
Yeah.
To take that. I think Sean Payton, I don't think he's an easy guy to play for.
No, that's a really good point. But yeah, Bo Nix.
Coach's son. I think it was the right pairing.
24 years old, by the way. He should be ready to go. You know what? He's a little different than Breeze because he's way more mobile. Mm-hmm. So he gives Sean Payton a little bit of a different thing to play with. Yeah, I think looks like a Pro Bowler to me, right? Like, I feel like he's going to be there for 10 years.
And then on the Browns side of it, how do you even get in the head of the Browns fans? Pining for Baker still? Like, you got nothing.
No.
You got nothing. You want Jameis? I mean, Jameis is a cult hero at this point. It's not about what's actually on the field.
You know who feels like a Browns quarterback? Cam Ward. EJ's guy at Miami.
Why would you wish that on Cam Ward?
Because I feel like Cam Ward will throw for 450 yards and 3 picks in a game, not even blink twice about it. He's the natural progression from Jameis Winston. Total gunslinger. Am I wrong about that, EJ?
Not wrong. Not wrong at all.
So he's going to go to the Browns and what?
I mean, there's a lot of talent
We'll start
there.
looking at his next team?
No, I mean, they'll move the ball a lot. It was Stefanski also proved again, like, he can coach offense. I guess he's fine, right? Did he get the vote of confidence?
Yeah,
He did.
he's already got the vote.
But the vote of confidence is not the end all to be all.
No, there's like 5 other coaches I'd fire before Stefanski, quite frankly.
Yeah. I mean, there are a bunch of there's other votes of confidence out there that will get fired. I mean, I don't think the Giants' votes of confidence mean a thing.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
855-212-4227. All right, last night's game, roller coaster. Really? There we go. Big show announcement coming up later in the morning. And we've got some fun potential rule change. I don't even know how to describe what we're going to talk about next. This is not hyperbole. This is something that some sports owners are talking about that could change the future, the current and the future of one sport unlike anything we've ever seen before. In my lifetime, I would have never witnessed a fundamental change like this in any sport that I've been watching since I was a kid. And I think I can say confidently all of you guys too. We're going to get to that next. It's Maggie and Perloff. Good morning.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie Perloff Show. Maggie, you got to give me credit. At least I'm consistent. This team is only good because their schedule take has been annoying people for at least 15 years. I used to do a little at Sports Illustrated. They gave me a little box in the season preview where I said schedule analysis. I'm like, this team is going to be 9-6, whatever, because this is so easy. The Vikings, Packers, and Lions are purely a function of their schedule. There is no way
this year.
I mean, they are those three teams. I think they're 15-0 against the AFC South. It is crazy. They are just feeding on the AFC South and inflating their records.
So you don't think the Lions are a legit Super Bowl contender?
No, they are definitely a Super Bowl contender. I mean, I just think that they would not be. I mean, their record's crazy. The fact that the Packers are a distant third place and they are 9-3. This is the Vikings would never be 10-2 normally. This is. Just the AFC South is so awful. I mean, you watch it. I mean, Jags just terrible. Yeah. Titans are even worse. It's amazing how these bad teams meet in one division. So I think that you disagree with that. You think the Vikings are a legit 10-2 team?
See, this is hard, right? Do I think the Vikings are going to win playoff games, go to the Super Bowl? I do not. But to say they're not legit, I kind of do the you are what your record says you are. I don't think that's true for college, but I do think it's true of the NFL because...
Even with the AFC South and on your schedule, you really think that they're that elite?
Well, it's not about being that elite. It's kind of the flip side. I think if you're a bad team, you find ways to lose. So
Right.
I kind of ascribe to the Bill Belichick theory on this. You got to learn how to not lose before you can learn how to win. And say, like, for example, the Vikings. So that game against the Cardinals on Sunday.
Yeah.
Probably a game they easily could have lost and
Right.
didn't, right? And why? Because they put together a really good drive with Sam Darnold to take the lead at the very end, and then they came up with a game-sealing interception. I think if you're really that much of a fraud team, you find ways to lose close games.
Well, remember they were 13-4 2 seasons ago,
Yeah.
and they, the stat DVOA, which is an overall analytic strength of a team, they were like 26. Then they got the doors blown off them by the Giants in the playoffs. Like, I don't know. I think that they might be headed towards the same thing, because if they don't have a 21-13 win over Indianapolis, a 12-7 debacle win over Jacksonville, and an easy win over the Titans, I generally think this is partly an Eagles take. The Eagles have had slightly harder schedules than all these teams. Yeah, I do think those records are absolutely inflated.
So you believe in being battle-tested?
No, I just think that, I think your record doesn't say what you are, because obviously if you play all losing teams, your record's going to be better. Like, you're a function of your schedule to a large extent. I think your Bills look great right now, but their schedule gets a little harder.
Yeah. So does the Steelers' schedule gets a lot harder. The Chiefs' schedule is going to get harder.
I mean,
here's the thing. I also think you can lose to anybody in the NFL. Like, we talk about how good are the Chiefs, And they almost lost to the Carolina Panthers, and they almost lost to the Raiders. They almost lose to these bad teams. Like, I don't think that means they're not a good team.
Well, let me ask you this. The Buffalo Bills, how many times have they won the AFC East in a row?
5.
And is that a function just because the Bills are awesome, or because the AFC East is a utter train wreck at all times?
Totally caught a break here with the Josh Allen's rise, with Tom Brady's dip, and ultimately he just left.
Yeah, Jets ownership.
The Jets being bad was one of the biggest breaks that the Bills caught.
Wait, that's not a break. That's called reality. The Jets have been bad forever.
No, but they were favored to win the division. So there was a reason why people were optimistic about them. Aaron Rodgers is a first ballot MVP, 4-time MVP Hall of Famer. So no, they caught a break for sure. They caught a break that Miami is not good, and they caught a break that the Jets have been a disaster. Absolutely. This could have been a much harder road. Last year, it took the Bills to literally the last game of the season to clinch the division. This time, they clinched the division basically at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, because Miami has such a history of dominating that conference. Remember when they won that playoff game in 1990?
Listen, they got Tyreek Hill and they got Mike McDaniel, and they put together this incredible offense. The problem is they can't beat a winning team. But
yeah. So anyway, I do believe, obviously.
So who are you making mad today?
Well, Vikings fans were not going to like that take. I mean, obviously, there's no way. This is going to be, I think, the greatest record. They have an 11-1 team, a 10-2 team, a 9-3 team, and a 4-8 team. Like, they're not that good, the NFC North. There's just no way. I mean, you think all those teams that's the 3 best teams in the league? No, of course not. The Vikings are not there.
I watched them play against each other, and it's fun.
Yeah, they're good teams, but I think these records are inflated. I mean, I don't even think that's a hot take. That seems kind of obvious.
Yeah, 855-212-4227. I teased it before. I mean, can we get into this now, or do we leave enough time? I don't think I've ever, and Bogish, I'm glad you're here for this too. I'm glad. I don't think I've ever experienced, if this comes true, I don't think I've ever experienced a bigger change in my lifetime to a sport than what could possibly be on the horizon for Major League Baseball. And we don't generally talk about baseball in December, but this warrants our attention. So it turns out, according to Jason Stark of The Athletic and a few others, that during the last owners' meetings, there's been some excitement, according to Rob Manfred, and maybe some traction around something called the Golden at-Bat. So nobody's sure exactly how this would be implemented into a baseball game, but the gist is that you would get a substitution for an at-bat at some point during a game. So here's a couple ideas of what the options could be. Each team could get a golden at-bat per game, 1 per game, period. You could also get one only in the 7th inning or later. You could also get one only in the 9th inning or later, only if you're trailing in the 9th inning. So, there's a lot of different variations of what this could be, but apparently the idea of a sub, not just a pinch hit, but the golden at-bat, where you just say, all right, it's 2 outs, bottom of the 9th. Instead of having our backup catcher be up to bat, I want Juan Soto up to bat, would be one of the biggest fundamental changes of a sport I think I've ever experienced.
That'd be huge. There's so many fun ramifications. What if Juan Soto is on base and they want to put Juan Soto up? Can you put a pinch runner in for Juan Soto and then move him to the plate?
No freaking clue.
And by the way, it's so funny you went with Juan Soto. I'm like, oh, you'd go, it must be a righty-lefty thing. Because wouldn't you want Aaron Judge for your, assuming Soto went back to the Yankees, wouldn't you want Aaron Judge for your golden at bat?
It could also be Aaron Judge. It could be whoever you want it to be. Soto a little more clutch. Could be whoever you want it to be. Manny got mad at that.
I tweeted this yesterday, and I believe it firmly. This is the worst rule idea I've ever heard, and I will be bitterly disappointed if it does not happen.
Wait. Explain yourself.
It's so dumb, and I can't wait. It is going to be, if they pass this, I will be utterly fascinated with how this rule is implicated, even though I think it's anti-competitive, it's idiotic. It basically is giving the middle finger to 175 years of baseball tradition. But it would sure be interesting to see if one of my Phillies are going to put Bryce Harper up.
I'm kind of with you. Like, it's almost like I want to see it because I want the moment, and I want to see the best against the best when it matters most, if that's the strategy. Or maybe you burn your golden at bat in the second inning with bases loaded. You want to break a game open. Just kind of going through all of that, I want to see. But at the same time, it makes me sad because. It does.
It's too silly to make you sad.
It would make me very sad because there's already been silly things with baseball that I've accepted now. Runner on second in extra innings. All the other changes, the gigantic bases, the fact that you can only do a certain amount of pickoff attempts, the fact they moved the shift. All these things that have changed the sport, this one would almost, I don't want to say make it unrecognizable. That's being a little too dramatic. But man, is baseball just not good enough on its own that we've got to basically make it Wally World?
I mean, yes, that's the answer.
But that's not the answer.
It's not the answer.
Because baseball has been good. Ratings are up. Like, yeah, you're not going to have the same ratings as football. You want to know who else doesn't? Anybody. Nobody does.
Right.
Football is king. So
I think we're living in a fantasy world because look, we do this show, and I'll break the fourth wall here. Like you started the segment, we don't normally talk about baseball in December. There was a time where we would talk about baseball in December on a national radio show, and we don't. We don't because there are other interests, mainly football, that people talk about. And I grew up loving baseball. I still love baseball. But if I'm answering a simple question that you asked, is it not good enough to bring the kind of eyeballs, the kind of attention that it used to? The answer is obviously no.
Yeah, for who?
For the casual, for the general American audience. Pearl talks about it all the time. Like, we talk about the ratings are up, but we just had a Yankees-Dodgers World Series. You think that if that was Diamondbacks Rangers again, we were going to have those ratings? No. If the Mets weren't in the NLCS, was that going to happen? No. Like, it can't be based off of if New York or LA is involved.
Wait, can I also, one thing I add, the new rule changes are awesome. Every single one of them is almost hit. The pitch clock is a game changer. That's awesome. So I don't know about I actually haven't really noticed the big bases. The stolen base rules are great. Like, what's been bad?
It just is fundamentally changing the sport. So that's where, like, my lament kind of comes in because it's everything feels gimmicky now.
But none of those really feel super gimmicky to me. Like, this is much more gimmicky. I think the golden rule.
Well,
but the extra inning rule is gimmicky.
The runner on
the
second.
Extra inning, the runner on the free runner on second base is gimmicky still.
For some reason, it doesn't bother me too much.
It still bothers me almost every time it happens. It's less and less bothersome. I wish that started later. Like, if you want to prevent 16-inning games on a Tuesday in May, that's fine. I think you could play the 10th inning like a regular baseball game and maybe the 11th and then go into some weird thing. I just want to remind baseball that it's a real sport. Okay?
Oh, my gosh.
This is not some charity thing. It's not, I don't know what my son and I were watching on Sunday morning where that was somehow ping pong and soccer.
Oh, I know, like the Ocho on ESPN. There's some bizarre sport.
Right. This is not that, right? It's not pickleball. We're not fighting for anything. I know they need more eyes. I get that. But the NBA, all I hear is how bad things are for them. And I don't think Adam Silver is considering dropping a peach basket down from the roof at the end of games for a 5-point basket or a 25-point hoop.
Are you insane? They just added 4 All-Star teams for this year.
But that's the All-Star game.
Adam Silver is going to
All-Star game.
If he's listening, he's going to do exactly what you just said. If you email Adam Silver, there will be a peach basket. There will be a peach basket dropping from the ceiling for Anthony Edwards to dunk on in about 2 weeks.
He can do that first. If he does that first, then we can circle back back to the golden at-bat rule, but until then, baseball can't. This is so dumb.
Well, I mean,
this
think about
can't happen.
They've had a lot of. I mean, it's not the same sport. They introduced a designated hitter. That's a sea change in the 70s.
Why is that not gimmicky?
And that is something that we take for granted now.
Right, and it's awesome.
Listen, I get it, but this one does feel different. Does it not? And listen, when the DH came to the National League, I think you guys are people were upset about that.
I was upset about it, yeah.
Mr. Purist.
I know.
But now you want the golden at bat.
It's not that I want it. It's just that I feel like, and I feel the same way about the NBA. My thing is, these are two sports that I'm looking at, two leagues that are just so far behind football and just far behind where they used to be.
Right.
That you need to be open to anything. And I think, like, when we think about these rules, at the time they sound extreme. Putting in a three-point line in the NBA sounded extreme until we did it. Putting a DH in baseball sounded extreme. You're going to just have a guy who doesn't play the field?
No, but here's the thing. I think that the reasons for those rule changes, the three-point line and some others, I don't think this is the same motivating factor that it is today. What's the motivating factor today? It's money. It's money and trying to claw back some of the eyeballs in the NFL. Newsflash, this is not going to do that. Like, your ratings are up, but adding this gimmicky rule, I don't think is going to make more people watch baseball.
I think it's
certainly
the pitch clock definitely did. I think it helped.
It's certainly not going to make us talk about the game in December because of the golden at-bat rule. It's still going to go away in the offseason. We're still not going to care about free agency because it's not the one singular daily that other sports have. Like this, we're talking about this now because we're talking about the possibility of this rule existing. But once this rule, if it does exist, it's not going to lead to conversations in the winter.
Again, we're talking about this golden at bat, which is the idea getting floated around by the owners at the latest owners meeting, where you basically it's not a pinch hit because it's somebody who's already in the lineup. It's a sub.
You can put anyone that you want up for this one at bat,
right?
In
But
whatever
Perloff's point,
situation
we
it
don't
is.
know if the person is already on base. I don't know if that person can get a ghosty on second and then come and hit again.
Somebody else will run for him. 100%. This feels like trial balloon stuff. Like, hey, just somebody whisper this in a column somewhere, and let's just see what the public reaction is
Manfred
to this.
said the owners
Yeah,
are
Manfred
into it.
floated that trial balloon.
Yeah, like so. That's what he's. I think he's trying to figure out, gauge what people would accept this or not.
Sure.
The other part too, which would be a fascinating strategy, would be if you have, say, let's use Juan Soto for example, or Shohei, whoever you want. Shohei hits the ball, gets on base, and then they just bring him back again to do the second at bat.
Yeah.
Just back to back.
How dumb is that? How dumb is that?
The other part too, one of the reasons why I was really in favor of the DH coming to the National League is because I feel like for better or for worse, sometimes as fans of the New York Mets, I don't think our managers really understood what was going on with not having a DH and having to pinch it for your pitchers. And I'm looking at you, Mickey Callaway.
Mm-hmm.
But even doing that in the National League finally, after all of those years of being different, like that solved an actual baseball problem. Like National League teams, there was like a disadvantage in not having a DH or having your pitcher hit all season. Like it made sense to balance it out. Plus, with the scheduling the way it is now, like that was a baseball fix. This
I also
is
think
such nonsense.
The players wanted more teams to be bidding for hitters.
Yes, right.
So, like, if you have a Kyle Schwarber out there or a big hitter, you want them to be available to be bid on by both leagues. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, what is the rule that is bothering? Is anybody bothered by the extra inning rule? I haven't seen people complain about it. Like everything has worked so far.
So I will give them give them credit and like the slight window to listen because they are almost batting 1,000 on all of these things. None of them have been as bad as we thought they were, and I thought most of them were gonna be bad. I didn't even like the 3-batter minimum thing for relief pitchers.
Yeah,
but that hasn't been terrible. So I'll listen to this, but not for much longer.
Man, this is crazy. 855-212-4227. There you go. A golden at bat. Do we like the name?
It's a little dicey.
Yeah. I think so too.
Mandy said some very not safe for worse things behind this.
Is that what you two were cackling about over there?
Of course, I was too.
Yeah. What are you guys, 10?
Yes. Well, when you said it, I hadn't even thought about it, but when you said it, do we like the name? Immediately, my mind went to not safe for workplaces.
It's called the Silver Slugger, right? Like you already have a Silver Slugger.
You win an award, yeah, award.
Silver at bat.
Does that still exist, the Silver Slugger?
Yeah.
Is there a Rolaids Fireman of the Year award?
Yeah, it's called the Trevor Hoffman Relief Pitcher of the Year award.
Yeah, I think Rolaids is out, but there is a Relief Pitcher award.
American League gets Mariano Rivera.
does Rolaids even need to advertise? Like, you either need that stuff or you don't.
I don't know. There's a diarrhea song for Pepto-Bismol, so
yeah.
I think they do.
Man.
See what the Golden Bat rule is going to do to us? It's going to immediately lead to...
Well,
today's poll question, which is better?
I'm going to be honest. You guys have all of your minds in the gutter. I was thinking it kind of felt like Golden Tea.
What's Golden?
The arcade game.
Golden Tea, the iced tea brand?
Weren't.
No, Golden Tea, the game.
Oh, okay.
The arcade game.
You're the smuttiest of all of us. You've been thinking about the other one for the whole time.
I chuckled.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't have a better solution for a name.
I have a solution. Don't have it.
I have a
Don't
solution.
make it a thing.
I have a solution. Let's put Bryce Harper up in the 9th inning against your Mets, and let's hit a home run. That's going to be great.
I really feel like this is the Harper, Lindor, Alonso, Shohei, Freeman effect, where the most exciting moments in this season were those guys, particularly the New York guys and Freeman, in big at-bats, big situations, game on the line, and they cracked home runs, and it was they're looking at those social media clips, how viral they're going. They're looking at the social media engagement, seeing how viral that's going. They're talking about how that drove conversation. I think they saw that during this postseason. I think it's also what Maggie talks about with that Ohtani versus Trout at bat.
Yeah.
I think they saw that and said, these are the most exciting things we have. Like
but here's the thing,
these are the
EJ,
moments that people care about the most. So let's make sure we can always have those moments in every game.
But the sport finds these moments.
Right.
And isn't that what makes them great? And by the way, there's also some other great moments that people talk about. David Freese, Jim Leyritz.
Sure.
There are other moments
Tommy
where
Edman, yeah.
you don't have to be Shohei or Freddie Freeman to have a great moment. So 855-212-4227. Folks, can you hang around for a second?
Why not?
Okay. What do you think? Golden at bat. We'll also take some new suggestions for the name. Maybe people like it.
It's kind of hard to think of. And once you have Golden Bat in your head, like that's the name. Sorry, there's
They should
no
have to
other
come up
possible.
with a golden bat. Like the player that gets picked.
Oh yeah, it should go up
should
with
have
a Golden
an
Bat.
actual gold bat. Yeah.
Yes.
Not wooden.
Yeah, no,
Gold.
not wooden, gold.
He wouldn't be able to pick it up. Solid gold bat. Everyone bunts. 855-212-4227. Okay, we're back in a minute. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining.
Say infinity's mine. Believe Bilatti's got something to say. Roasting Tom Brady. Peter Bellotti.
Manny and EJ, they're diehard Knicks fans. Living in the Big Apple, they're part of the grand plan. But they just
2 minutes,
witnessed the
30
crushing
seconds remaining.
defeat. 76ers taking the victory, man. That's hard to beat.
Broncos and swoosh. Glorious place. He's on the chat. Tuning in, where it's at. Infinity Sports Radio. Playing all morning. Dancing to the beat. Feeling so right. It takes our life. The speakers blast. Is a Twitch viewer having a blast? With the lights spinning, the clouds going wild. Glorious set, just feeling so alive. Radio days, dancing under the stars. Can't you hear the beat? It plays from afar. Glorious blast, feeling the flow. Feeling sports radio. He's on the show.
1 minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Robust discussion about this potential of a golden at bat for Major League Baseball. Basically, anyone can come up to bat at any time. Maybe once a game. Maybe it's only after the 7th inning. Maybe it's only in the 9th inning. This is all just kind of being workshopped.
Got to be once a game because otherwise the strategy just goes out the window. That would be insane. This happened to me in Little League. Guys have told you about the big brawl, right?
The big brawl?
Yes. At the local YMCA, when one of the coaches, a dad, hit Jeff Markowitz, the best player in the league, every third at bat, Jeff would come up. And the other coach, my coach, was like, Jeff just batted. He just batted. And he's like, I don't know. I don't know where the lineup card is. So they were sneaking him into the lineup, and it almost turned into a major fight. I don't know if anyone else experienced that.
Where's the umpire? They're supposed to sniff that stuff out.
You know, in Little League, this happens, though. It could be chaos. Be about like, wait, that kid, did you guys have rules where the bad kid had to bat at least once or twice?
Yeah. It's like a participation.
Yeah.
The bad kid. How about everyone?
Bad.
How about everyone's 12?
And he played right field.
Yeah, the right fielder.
Kid. Yeah.
The right fielder who had one leg shorter than the other. And
glove on the wrong hand.
Yeah.
What position do you play?
Right field.
That's interesting. My brother played right field.
What did I play? Oh.
My brother played right field.
Was he
going to tell him?
Was he a bad player or a good player?
I have no comment.
Let's wake him up.
Yeah, and also, too, in softball, there are all kinds of rules about who has to bat. Especially a co-ed team, like you have to hit a woman every third at bat or something, like whatever. This happens.
Yeah, women will...
Are we comparing co-ed, like company versus company softball to Major League Baseball?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Just making sure.
I say women will recognize this because there's always some guy who comes up to you at some point and is just like, we need a chick. Can you possibly play?
Yeah.
It's like, nah, I'm busy that day. Bogish has headlines for us. We didn't get to them last hour.
These headlines are sponsored by Prize Picks. Football season's heating up, and Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. Download Prize Picks and use code PRIMETIME to get a $50 credit instantly when you play $5. Must be present in certain states where it's lawful to wager. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Do you believe that?
Bo Nix hadn't thrown a pick since November 3rd. Then he had 2 of them last night against the Browns. The second one led to a go-ahead Cleveland touchdown mid-fourth quarter. But the rookie recovered to drive for Will Lutz's go-ahead 27-yard field goal with 2:54 to go. Nix 5 completions on that drive.
Really, it's just all about going to the next drive. Not worrying about the score, not worrying about what happened before, just worrying about getting the next good playoff.
He and the Broncos clinched the 41-32 shootout with Jaquan McMillan's 44-yard pick six with 1:48 left. Second pick of Jameis Winston that the Broncos returned for points. It's a 3-game win streak for Denver and a 2-game cushion for the last wildcard spot. Meanwhile, Kevin Stefanski's Browns are now 3-9.
Obviously very, very disappointed. You put a lot into these games and players, coaches, and you want to come out on the other side, and we didn't do that. And we win as a team, we lose as a team, and we'll own this one. But very, very disappointed.
When Jameis Winston throws for 497 yards and 4 scores, you should win, unless Jameis Winston throws for 3 interceptions, and again, 2 of which were taken back for touchdowns. LeBron James scored just 10 points in the Lakers' 109-80 loss in Minnesota last night. He has now missed 19 threes in a row, so maybe playing all 82 games isn't a great idea. Your call, J.J. Redick.
I don't know that's in the best interest of him and us if he does that, but if he's feeling well and feeling good, then he should play, but we obviously want to manage that as best we can.
LeBron said post-game he still wants to play all 82. He is not ready to discuss changing those plans yet.
Wow, JJ really looked like he had command of that. Feels like he's really in charge of this decision.
Yeah. And UConn men's basketball dropping from 2nd to 25th in the new AP poll after going 0 for 3 at the Maui Invitational. The list again begins with Kansas, now followed by Auburn, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Marquette. Guys, back to you.
Manny, I knew you were going to love that.
Well, that's interesting.
Just UConn dropping like a stone. We're learning more things about Manny. His irrational hate for UConn.
And his brother.
Brother apparently was a butcher in right field.
Yep. He's also too chubby right now, I've heard. What?
Broham? It's the holidays. Lighten up.
No, this is pre-holidays, the body shaming.
No, my brother's...
Is this the guy who just got married?
That's right.
And you had to shave your mustache, your Aiden O'Connell mustache
That's
for
right,
it?
yes.
That's where it came. This is where
Honestly,
it all stems from.
Best thing they ever did for you, Manny.
Wow, all righty.
I'll disagree, Manny.
Thanks, Bogey.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, do we need an intervention or something for your bro?
No, you need to hit it into the gap in right field and you get an automatic home run.
Make him chase the ball around the outfield.
A couple hundred times.
Just keep hitting the ball in between the gap and just let him get some cardio. I think that'll work him out.
We don't even know this person.
He'll
Let's
get
laugh
tired.
at his expense. Ha, ha, ha. Baz is in the Bay Area. Wants to talk about the golden at-bat rule, which would basically be a substitution. Not a substitution. I need a better word for this. You can put any batter you want at one point during the game. What's up, Baz?
I think it's thank you for taking my call, first off. For me, I think it's a change that's going to attract fans like myself. Like baseball, I enjoy it. Not my number one sport. But like I was mentioning earlier, what attracted me to the TV to watch baseball were the home runs. Growing up, we had Sammy. We had McGuire. I get what they had their past, what led them to what it was, but there was nothing like watching Top 10 Sports Center every night to see what they were doing. Many perfect games thrown by pitchers, but you'll remember those two. Then you had the years of Barry Bonds, home runs, big hits. And I think this is just another reach for to attract locally here in America, fans like myself that want to say, you know what? I want to see what they're doing in baseball. I want to see what that team is doing at the end of the game.
You
And
want
it's gonna
more reasons
attract
to
you to wanna
tune in,
watch.
Baz. You want more moments. I get it. And thank you for the call. Sorry, we're up against the top of the hour.
Yep.
Baz wants moments.
It'll make SportsCenter. I mean, it'll be the most fascinating thing about the sport. And I don't even think there's a close second. What else would you talk about?
So much to get to. I don't know. Somehow we've talked about baseball for 100 years. I think we'd find a way to keep talking about it.
For 87 years. The last 13 years have been silence.
Coming up, the best opening in the NFL. Got some thoughts.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining.
Glorious days, he's on the chat. Here's a brand new rule in the MLB. The golden at bat sounds fancy to me, but don't get excited, it's not what you think. Kinda like a shower, but one you don't wanna drink. It's a wild card swing, a shot for the stars, a chance for the bench guys who don't have the scars. But if you're thinking it's classy, better hold your applause. It's the kind of goal that makes you question the cause.
On the Infinity Sports Network.
Shotgun snap to the Cleveland quarterback. Winston looks right. Winston looks left. He throws a pass. It's intercepted. Picked off on the near side. Down the sideline. Benito, 50, 40 down the near side. Foot race. 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown. Touchdown, Nick Benito. A pick six by Jameis Winston. It was returned 75 yards.
One of two pick sixes for Jameis Winston on the night. Welcome to the show. Thank you to Kevin Harlan and Westwood One for that sound. It's Maggie. It's Pearl.
Yeah.
Recapping what happened last night. What was a wild game, because every game that Jameis Winston plays in is a wild one, and Bo Nix outlasted him in this one.
You know, it's funny. I watched a halftime show, and I can't remember which analyst. Maybe Ryan Clark or somebody said, you know, the first pick six wasn't such a bad play by Jameis Winston. I'm like, what are you talking about? That was a terrible play.
You know, those good pick sixes.
He had all the time in the world
Yeah.
and just squeezed it in there. And Nick Benito, who I don't even know why he was back in coverage at that spot, picked it off and ran it back. Did you see he's the first Bronco to have 10 sacks and a pick six in the same season since Von Miller? He's amazing. But Jameis just throws it into such tight windows. And the other thing about Jameis, when he throws it, he has to wind up his whole body. It is not a quick release. Gives everybody time to adjust to the ball.
Yeah, and get over there and then
Yeah,
tip
yeah,
the ball
yeah.
and get
It's
it.
just
To be
it's
fair
just
to the
an
Browns,
adventure.
they did score on the next possession. So it made it 21-17 at half, and then both teams really trading these really long touchdowns. So in the third quarter, Bo Nix, just a beautiful deep pass to Mims for 93 yards. Then Jameis comes on the field, quick strike to Jerry Jeudy for a 70-yard touchdown. It's like, wow, we really got a game here with these guys are airing it out. Then it got a little bit,
Terrible defense.
Yeah, I mean, and you're
Terrible defense.
And then it grinded to the halt a little bit more with the game. Got a couple more flags, got a couple more punts, and then fourth quarter, what happened? A Jameis Winston second pick of the night, and it was one of the reasons why I felt comfortable laying the points with the Denver Broncos. If it had been any other quarterback on the other side, I don't think I would have done it. But with Jameis, there's a pick six that's looming at all times.
Oh, yeah, that was a great call. The Jerry Jeudy was a good 20 feet behind the defense on almost every play. I'm not sure where the Broncos DBs are. That's why I wonder, say the Broncos played the Ravens again in the playoffs. Like, is that defense any good? It's very hard to tell.
It's funny, as a unit, they are like a top 5 defense, but they had one corner was missing last night, and they were carving them up.
Well,
Kevin Stefanski had the answers.
It's very much. That is definitely. I was started the show by saying it's a function of their schedule. Like, their defense against good teams is an unknown. I mean, the Ravens just totally destroyed them, and easily too, by the way. I just don't know how good this team really is. Again, and I'm not even sure that's a priority. Like, who cares this year in Denver? Like, if they make the wild card, they are just thrilled that Bo Nix is so good.
Oh, and I'll tell you exactly what this team is for Denver, and it's a bit of a cliche, but it fits. This is a house money season.
Yeah, totally.
Because if you look at the Colts or something like that, I feel like there's maybe some pressure there, There could be some pressure.
I don't know. I mean, you have Anthony Richardson at quarterback.
Again, like, is he good? I saw that, they scored a touchdown and he got the 2-point conversion to beat the Patriots. Congratulations, you beat the Patriots. That's not exactly something to write home about. You're on the cusp of a playoff, and I think there's more at stake for the Colts and maybe a little bit more pressure. For the Broncos, I don't think there's any. This is all like fun. This is all found success. No one expected them to have 8 wins at this point of the season. And yeah, they've had some brutal losses like to Kansas City, but then you have nights like last night, and if they make the playoffs, this is just they can play free and loose. because there are no expectations.
Yeah, it's interesting. If they play this weekend, the Colts and the Broncos. If the Colts win that game, they go to 7-7. The Broncos would go to 8-6. But the Broncos have the Chargers and the Chiefs coming up. This is a huge game. This could pretty much end the AFC playoff race. If the Broncos beat the Colts in Denver, which they should. I mean, the Colts are not a very good team. They got lucky to beat the Patriots. Then it's over, which is kind of a little boring in a sense. we are going to know the playoff picture, and then Denver can really try to figure out how do we make some noise here. And I'm not exactly sure how they do that. Like, I know Sean Payton isn't thinking wild card. He's been to the top of the mountain before. He's probably thinking, how can I make a Cincinnati Bengals like run here? Remember Burrow in his second year came out of nowhere, 10-7, and made the Super Bowl. But I'm not sure that's that kind of team. But you say it really doesn't matter.
I don't think so. I think next year they'll probably come back with a little bit of pressure. But here's the thing. If they're a 7 seed and they get matched up against either Kansas City, who they're going to know well and have played twice already, or Buffalo, I mean, Sean Payton went into Buffalo last year and won. He's going to be very familiar with Kansas City. These are division games where you know your opponent well. I don't know. It's interesting. Can we hear from Sean Payton? You don't know
if Denver plays Kansas City, if Kansas City is going to win that playoff game? You don't know.
Listen, if Kansas City wins, they won the first game. Yeah. If they win the second game, which would be the season finale, you yourself, what's one of the things you always say? Really hard to beat a team 3 times.
I know, but not the Chiefs in the playoffs are going to lose to the Broncos.
That's Sean Payton versus Andy Reid. That's not bringing a knife to a gunfight. That's a good matchup.
I mean, that feels like a stretch that the Broncos are going to knock off the 3P team because obviously the Chiefs will actually activate Travis Kelce for that.
Are you sure?
Tell him that. Yeah, I mean, I just think, and the Buffalo, like they go to Buffalo, might be 10-point underdogs.
They might be, but
that would feel like a blowout.
I would think maybe they'd be live dogs there. And we still got a lot of season left. Can I quickly hear from Sean Payton, Manny, on how the win was stunning?
Holy cow. There's some games go maybe in a direction you think they're going to go. Obviously, that one went in a much different direction. We made enough plays in the end to win.
No one's more surprised than the head coach.
Holy cow.
Didn't think he was going to get into a shootout last night, I guess. 855-212-4227 if you want to weigh in the Broncos. As for the Browns, 3-9. Good luck. No easy answer for you. I'd draft a quarterback if I were you, but beyond that, I got nothing for you.
Who are you going to draft, though?
The best player available who's a quarterback.
Oh, my God. So
I can't keep waiting for Deshaun Watson to get
Shador's gone 1. Cam Ward's gone 2. You're going to draft Carson Beck? Is that who you're bringing here?
I know. I can't imagine a worse fit.
You're going to, Jalen Milroe, I don't think it fits what they have at all. I'm not sure. I don't see, unless they lose out and get into 1 and 2, maybe. Otherwise, there's so many teams that need a quarterback right now. The Raiders, the Titans, the Panthers, the Giants. There's a lot of competition for that quarterback.
If the season ended today, the Cleveland Browns would be picking 8th. Doesn't really help you that much in terms of the quarterback situation, but you got to figure something out.
Yeah, last year that would have been good.
Now, we think that Kevin Stefanski is probably safe. However, the opening that exists with the Chicago Bears, Perloff, if I can transition that way, is one that was being talked about yesterday by the president of the team, Kevin Warren, whose name might be familiar to the casual fan because he was the commissioner of the Big Ten not too long ago. He held that post from 2020 to 2023. So these two dudes, Kevin Warren and also Ryan Poles, the general manager, both met the media yesterday. Obviously, they fired head coach Matt Eberflus on the Friday after Thanksgiving after that terrible end of game against the Detroit Lions. One of the most pathetic endings that we've seen in a while, and one that was a gut punch and sucker punch to Bears fans in a season that has already been full of them. So, okay. Here we go. First on some of the small details here, because I think they're important. So, Manny, can we hear cut 6? This is Kevin Warren first talking about Eberflus and how Matt Eberflus, the head coach, was able to go do his scheduled media appearance at 9 a.m. the day after they lost to the Lions on Thanksgiving and then was fired a few hours later.
Once we reached the decision, we wanted to make sure to talk with Matt about that so he could have the respect to be able to call his family, And I'll say this, one thing that happened, this is the first time, and it happens around the league a lot, where a head coach will find out he's terminated, and he finds out before he's told from the organization. And that's something that we promised that we weren't going to do. So in retrospect, could we have done better? Yes. But we were trying to be respectful, and we did not know our decision when he started his press conference.
Oof. I mean, first of all, you're telling me you can't postpone a press conference. So they said they're in this meeting, Perloff, at 7 o'clock in the morning. All right, the powers that be, the McCaskies and everything. And they're there at 7 a.m. And by 9 a.m., they didn't know whether or not they still wanted to keep Eberflus. I don't know what took you so long. The guy's been terrible at the end of games. They lost 4 different games in the final play of the season this year, whatever. And you're telling me you can't send word to anybody to say, hey, maybe we can postpone this press conference for a little bit? And you're talking about because you wanted to save him embarrassment? What do you think you did? You embarrassed him double because you let him say, we're game planning for the San Francisco 49ers when meanwhile the guy's getting a pink slip 2 hours later.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, who cares, right? Does it really make a difference?
Yeah, this is why. So let's play cut 3 because this is what I'm setting up here. The front office, up to this point, does not get the benefit of the doubt of being winners. They haven't shown it. They haven't proven it. So here's Kevin Warren talking about the Bears head coaching job is going to be the most coveted in the NFL.
When you look at all of these elements as we sit here today, we are in a unique situation. This will be the most coveted job in the National Football League this year. And Ryan and I need to work hand in hand together to make sure we bring that to life, not only from a head coach standpoint, but also from an entire staff standpoint.
I just hope they understand this head coaching job could be the most coveted in the NFL, Perloff, but not because of those two guys. It's because of Caleb Williams, because the passionate fan base, and because Chicago's a hell of a city. But it's not because anyone has faith that Kevin Warren or Ryan Poles are this great brain trust that's going to get any of these decisions correct.
I would, actually, one exception is I wouldn't really call out Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles because I think it's the ownership group that has been consistently bad for about 20 years or for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, they've never, so I think it's not those guys' fault. I think Ryan Poles seems like a pretty good dude. And Kevin Warren has a nice resume, so I'm not sure I would call them out. I'd say it's just one of those dysfunctional franchises. Probably starts with ownership more than them.
I think all of it, but I'm just saying, if you're asking me why this job is attractive, I don't think it's because of those two gentlemen. I think it's because you think Caleb Williams is the generational talent, and because you think that you want a chance to coach that. It's not because I think that I'm in some great hands, whether it's ownership, whether it's the front office, any of it. I don't think I'm walking into a really well-oiled machine here. I think I'm walking into something that's probably going to be, at some point in my life, in my tenure as head coach, is probably going to be a sloppy headache for me.
Probably. Yeah, I agree with that. I do think Poles is a plus. I think people like him. Matt Ryan's former right tackle. I love that story.
Yeah.
I just think that Poles has done a nice job with the roster. I do think that coaches would want to work with him. Kevin Warren seems like a lot to handle.
Yeah. So
especially going back to the whole Big Ten mess. But that being said, I think the ownership group, and also too, some things about Chicago, like you draft a quarterback in Chicago, and we're like, well, they could ruin any quarterback. And this is going back to Sid Gilman, and boom, they ruined Caleb Williams.
Yeah. There was another report, and this one was from Mike Sando, I believe, from The Athletic. So guys, pretty plugged in. And it was who is actually going to be a legit candidate for this Bears head coaching job. And the idea was it can't be anyone who is going to upstage Kevin Warren. Now, that's tough because this is not Jerry Jones. Jerry at least owns the team. Kevin Warren's the president. You don't want the president, no matter how much they think they know about football or know about football or whatever. Kevin Warren is, yes, worked for a lot of NFL teams, and I know he was a college basketball player, and maybe he does know a bit about football, but the guy's the lawyer, and you're the president of the team. You got to let the football people do the football stuff. And I worry if that report is in any way correct, Pearl, that, you're telling me you wouldn't be in the market now for Bill Belichick because he might not play nice with Kevin Warren? That it kind of feels like what the Atlanta Falcons did by passing on Belichick because guys in the front office didn't want to have friction with Bill. I mean, I don't think that's a great way to make a decision on a head coach.
Yeah, I mean, this is not really a Belichick spot, right? Are they talking about
Belichick, Vrabel, whoever you want, who's like maybe a household name, or I don't know how they would define this.
Yeah, I think everything you say is right, but let's face it, if there's a vacancy, there's a flaw, right? There's never been a vacancy where everything was perfect. So you got to weigh in, like, how many vacancies? 7 to 10 vacancies this year. They're all super flawed. If that's your biggest flaw, that Kevin Warren is overbearing, it's not the end of the world.
But think about it. Look at what happened with the Chargers and Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
They had to want a big personality to come in,
Yeah.
right? And that was a flawed team, but turns out not as flawed as Brandon Staley made them look.
Well, I mean, they made the playoffs 2 years ago with Staley, but yes.
Yeah, and they blew a 20-point lead in that game.
Right, but they'll probably end up having the same record. But
Okay, but it didn't work with Brandon Staley.
No,
right?
it definitely didn't work, but it hasn't worked yet with Harbaugh.
Okay. But the idea is that Harbaugh was a candidate there, and ultimately I think is going to do good things there because the ownership put their own ego aside and said, we need some help, and brought in Jim Harbaugh, and they seem like they're staying out of it. Would the Bears, who probably could have used a Jim Harbaugh, let's be honest, and maybe could have had a shot at Jim Harbaugh, he is one of their former quarterbacks. Yeah. And if you pass on a guy with a big personality because someone in the front office is feeling threatened by it, that's rough to take as a fan.
I hear you, but do you think that, except for Belichick, like, who do you think passes on this job?
Would it be Vrabel?
I think Vrabel would take this in a heartbeat.
Well, but I'm saying,
Ben Johnson may pass.
Would they bring him in?
Ben Johnson may pass.
Well, the thing about, I don't know if you guys followed the Ben Johnson story yesterday. So in week 7, Schefter said Ben Johnson doesn't want the Chicago job. I think because everything. Then Schefter said something cryptic last night. Ben Johnson's in on the Chicago job. He said he would consider the Chicago job.
Okay, so Ben Johnson is the offensive coordinator for the Lions. He's not exactly a household name yet, but he is obviously one of the hot coaching candidates.
I mean, he was on TV more than Dan Campbell on Thanksgiving. They basically had a camera on him the entire game.
Can I give you my read on Ben Johnson? This is my read on Ben Johnson. So obviously the guy can run a good offense. It's not about that. I think he could be. He's a talented play caller. Resurrected Goff's career when Sean McVay couldn't. Like all that stuff, totally deserved. What my read is on him, and I might be wrong, is that this dude understands that most first-time head coaches, the odds that you just like take off and are awesome and are the next Sean McVay are very slim. And I think he's waiting for the most money possible, and whoever's going to give him this gigantic bag, because he probably knows he's getting hired potentially to get fired, and he wants to make sure that he's beyond set. That's my read on it.
I think
the highest bidder is where he'll go. It's not because he's so hand-picking the situation. Or maybe the two go hand in hand. But.
Well, I think basically getting his agent got word to Schefter that he would consider Chicago is he's building up the market. I think you're onto something there. But I do think now when he's looking around, I think he might take Chicago. I think it's funny. The one reason that people think he wants no part of being in the division with Detroit, who's young and drafting like gangbusters. And maybe Minnesota is a team to avoid too. And Green Bay is a team to avoid. So you have 3 really good franchises. So maybe get out of that's the worst thing for him. But he reminds me a lot of Shanahan in the sense that like he's got creative run schemes. Like that is such a huge thing in the NFL. Like even if everything falls apart with your quarterback, if you can get 4 yards on first down, I'm very interested in Ben Johnson. I think he could be an instant hit like McVay or like Shanahan. I don't think Shanahan took any time to get going. He hit the ground running pretty quickly at San Francisco. So
here's my thing about the guys. Shanahan to me is so different because his dad and growing up in it. I don't know if Ben Johnson's dad was a head coach. Forgive me if he wasn't. I just didn't know.
Probably.
They're all Nepo babies over there in the coaching ranks. But I'm not just going to give a first-time head coach generally the benefit of the doubt, because I think I'm not just saying that Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Lions, is a product of his roster, but that offensive line may have 3 future Hall of Famers on it. We could be looking at an all-time line here. And so congratulations to you. You've got a great run game. You also have a fantastic line.
Who are your 3 Hall of Famers?
Well, Penei Sewell.
Definitely.
Frank Ragnow.
I don't know.
Dude, I think that he probably is.
And then Decker is your 3rd?
He might be.
Okay. That seems a bit rich, but okay. I understand what you're saying, but honestly, those guys are helped out by him as much as they're helped out by... I mean, you have no idea what the Lions are going to run on a given play. We'll see. So you're not into Ben Johnson at all. You would not hire him?
I'm just not into crowning guys before, because I've seen so many coordinators who look super promising and they go to a situation and it just falls apart.
I think that, even a guy like Mike McDaniel, like he immediately got that offense going. And he made the playoffs. I think if you get that with Ben Johnson, that's something. Like, I think you can translate good offense coordinators can come in and immediately run a good offense.
How's Mike McDaniel doing now?
I'm not saying you're overall going to get to the Super Bowl, but I think Ben Johnson's offense will carry for sure. And I think if Chicago would be psyched to have that offense.
Let's go to Frank. He's in Georgia. We're talking about the Chicago Bears situation, their head coaching vacancy. What's up, Frank?
Hey, good morning. Hey, just a question. What about Mike McCarthy going to the Bears?
No way. He's such a retread. If you look up retread in the dictionary, that would be Mike McCarthy next year.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he's familiar with the division, and I think he probably can develop a quarterback.
I don't hate it, Frank. I don't hate it because you're talking about Perloff retreads. Well, retreads are kind of having a moment right now. Dan Quinn is a retread. I think he's having a major moment. Sean Payton is a retread. We watched him, and he's a Super Bowl winning coach. We saw him last night. Raheem Morris was a retread. He's getting a second opportunity. We're looking at Cliff Kingsbury might be a hot coordinator candidate for a head coaching job. He would be a retread. Jim Harbaugh's a retread. I think retreads are the thing right now.
But that's their second retread. This would be a third retread.
For McCarthy?
Yeah, Payton's on his second job. Harbaugh's on his second job. Third job. I mean, come on. If you're telling me, okay, so let me put this to you. Would you rather have Mike McCarthy or Ben Johnson?
Here's the thing. I do think Mike McCarthy can develop a quarterback. I do. He's not bad for quarterbacks. Listen, Dak Prescott came in second in the MVP voting the year that Mike McCarthy took over the play calling.
Put that poll up there, EJ. Let's see what the public thinks.
Frank, I'm into it. Inspired.
Thank you.
Thanks for the call, dude. I'm not so sure that Mike McCarthy's not coaching the Cowboys next year.
I think a third job is kind of like McCarthy might have to wait. Right? I mean, because when I say retread, like that's Harbaugh's on his second job, Payton's on his second. Like that's a lot different. We've seen McCarthy kind of come up short.
He's going to have to grind some more tape.
Yeah, I know. He's going to have to spend a year discovering the new trends in the NFL.
The Bears would kill for 12 wins.
I mean, I think, we totally disagree. I think Ben Johnson is clearly the number one candidate, way ahead of Belichick, way ahead of Rabel to me.
Yeah, and I remember times when guys who even did have head coaching experience, at least at the college level, like Matt Rule was a hot candidate. I remember when Robert Saleh was a hot candidate.
Saleh was not like Ben Johnson.
But Saleh was a very hot candidate because he was the demonstrative guy on the 49ers sideline, and everyone liked his vibe.
But the key in the NFL now is offense, right? Like, you need the offensive guy. Like, I think 80% of the new hires are offensive coordinators.
Okay, and some do work out, but I think Mike McDaniel is probably not safe right now. And it doesn't always, the coordinators sometimes just flame out. It happens. 855-212-4227. Nathaniel Hackett.
Adam Gase.
Woof. Okay. A lot of Jets coaches there.
Common denominator.
It always happens that way, doesn't it? All right, we got to take a quick break. Coming up, we have a coach for you that's on the hot seat. And we have plenty of college football for today as well. Don't move.
There's a brand new rule in the MLB. The golden at bat sounds fancy to me. But don't get excited, it's not what you think. Kinda like a shower, but one you don't wanna drink. It's a wild card swing, a shot for the stars. A chance for the bench guys who don't have the stars. But if you're thinking it's classy, better hold your applause. It's the kind of gold that makes you question the cause. Golden at bat, yeah, it sounds kinda strange. Like a wet joke, you wish you could change. MLB's new twist, a hit or a miss. Feels like a prank that we can't dismiss. And speaking of changes, let's talk about Manny. His mustache is gone, thanks to his brother Danny. At Manny's bro, yeah, he runs the whole scene. He's the family boss with a plate full of cream. Made Manny shave it, said it looked dumb. You're hitting like trash with that fuzz on your gum. Now Manny's clean shaven, but can he hit? Or is it just Fat Manny who's running the ship? Golden at bat, yeah, what's it all mean? A shiny new rule or a baseball meme? And Manny's fresh face, no stash, no flair, while Fat Manny's out here stealing his air. It's the MLB's way to shake up the game, but this golden rule might just bring shame. And Manny's still stuck under Bro's chubby thumb, while fans wonder, what's baseball become? Golden at bat, it's a swing and a joke, a wet dream of rules for the Twitter folk. And Manny's clean face, well, it might bring him luck, but Fat Manny's in charge, and he doesn't give a duck.
Maggie's phone buzzing again. It's way precision, knows it's Perloff, humming that familiar tune. Yo, Maggie got a sec, let me break it down. Prize pick, song popping, gonna take the crown. She's heard it all before, every prop, every play. Just one peaceful moment, he's got something to say. Perloff, go away, take your prize picks and run. I don't care if you hit or you're up by one. I'm dodging your calls, I just need some peace. Talk to someone else, let a girl be free. He's got stats on his mind, over-unders on deck. Calling Maggie again, like a human group text. Maggie, you're missing out, this is pure gold. Let's parlay this win, we'll be legends bold. She's got a show to prep, real life on the line. But here comes Perloff for the 100th time. Perloff, go away, take your prize picks and run. I don't care if you hit or you're up by one. I'm dodging your calls, I just need some peace. Talk to someone else, let a girl be free. He's got a show to prep, real life on the line. But here comes Perloff for the 100th time. Perloff, go away, take your prize picks and run. I don't care if you hit or you're up by one. I'm dodging your calls, I just need some peace. Talk to someone else, let a girl be free. He's dreaming of millions, she's dreaming of quiet. But Perloff's pitch, oh, she can't deny it. Maggie, just one more, I swear it's a lock. She throws down the phone, time to change the clock. Perloff, go away, take your prize picks and run. I don't care if you hit or you're up by one. I'm dodging your calls, I just need some peace. Talk to someone else, let a girl be free. Perloff, it's over, no more plays today. Find a new phone friend or just go away. Talk to someone else, let a girl be free. Perloff, it's over, no more plays today. Find a new phone friend or just go away.
Show. Spirited debate over the next Bears coach. But first, we have to do Defensive Player of the Week, which of course is sponsored by the Navy Federal Credit Union, who proudly serves the armed forces, DoD, veterans, and their families. Their members are the mission. Learn more at NavyFederal.org. I think this week's choice is basically dependent on how much recency bias EJ Stewart has, who picks it every week. Did he go last night with Nick Bonito, or did he go back to Thanksgiving, Maggie? Like, where do you think EJ's head is?
Well, I think I know. Obviously, the Denver Broncos come up with 2 pick sixes on Jameis Winston last night, if you're just waking up and getting going. And so the Broncos win the game, win a shootout. I think I know where EJ went. And I think that he went to college football.
Okay.
I think that EJ went back to the game. And I think he is splitting the defensive player this week between Amir Hall and Makari Page, the two guys who had interceptions on Will Howard from Ohio State. So I think he went with 2 Michigan Wolverines in what is the biggest upset of the year.
I would have gone, if you go Wolverines, I'd go Mason Graham because he was swallowing up Ohio State guys. I think he went football, NFL, TJ Watt, huge game, possible, or goes all the way back to Thanksgiving for my guy, the guy I want the Eagles to pry away so badly, DeMarvion Overshawn, who is just probably the most athletic defensive player in the NFL. So I'm going Overshawn's, or Parsons was amazing too. I'm going back to Thanksgiving. What do you got, EJ?
Guys, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed because you literally guessed this guy last week. And then you guessed him last week and they didn't mention him here. My defense player of the week this week with the Navy Federal is Leonard Williams.
Oh.
2 sacks.
Pick 6.
And a pick 6 on Aaron Rodgers. The pick 6 changed the game. The sacks basically ended the game. Leonard Williams was a monster against his old team in his old stomping grounds at MetLife Stadium. Pearl, you literally mentioned Leonard Williams.
Yeah, but I mean, you
last
don't really you beat up the Jets.
You wanted to give it to Ron Overshawn. He played against Drew Lock.
That's true.
Hit the over, though. Thank you.
Yeah, but I really, I'm totally into Overshawn.
I love that you think that the Cowboys are just going to give him away to a division rival. That doesn't happen.
I'm also eyeing Parsons really carefully. Everything he says, like, he wants to be in Philadelphia. We all know it. He's going to follow Saquon. He's on fire. If you don't pay, I know everyone was laughing when he said that team is for real. I'm telling you, those defensive players in Dallas are very interesting. That's all I'll say. And they would look great in Kelly Green.
The universe won't let that happen, I hope.
Parsons, you listen to Parsons talk about the Eagles. He basically calls them our Eagles.
You know what? Perloff's mic just went out, and I think that's the sports gods intervening there because your mic is on, but no sound was coming out. And if there was any sign from above that the Eagles are not destined to get Micah Parsons, I believe that's it. Thank you, sports gods. Andrew Bogish is here with headlines while we get Perloff's microphone worked out. What's up, Bogish?
These headlines sponsored by Prize Picks. Football season's heating up, and Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. Download Prize Picks and use code PRIMETIME to get a $50 credit instantly when you play $5. Must be present in certain states where it's lawful to wager. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
I'm going to hug him.
Jameis Winston giveth.
Jameis to throw, looking left. It's caught. It's a touchdown. Nick Chubb.
But Jameis also giveth away.
The shotgun snap, the short drop, the quick throw far side. It's intercepted. Denver's intercepted in McMillan 40. Sideline 30. Down the sideline 20. 10. 5. Touchdown. It's a pick 6!
The touchdown pass was Winston's 4th of Monday Night Football in Denver. Then his 2nd pick 6 of the night. 3 total picks in a 41-32 loss to the Broncos. Jameis threw for 497 yards, while Denver returned those interceptions for 171 yards. So 668 yards is the highest combo in NFL history. It's a record that Winston should absolutely hold.
I messed it up for us in front of the whole wide world, but I'm going to continue to get better. We're going to put this one behind us, and Lord willing, we go to Pittsburgh and finish strong.
I love this, like the whole wide world. Like there's someone in a fishing village in the Philippines that's just like, Jameis!
Just shaking their head.
Fist. Winston.
Right.
It's like at the top of Mount Everest. Someone's just like gets an alert on their phone. It's like, no! A 3rd pick? This guy.
Imagine sitting on Jameis in fantasy last night, and he's just racking up yards and touchdowns and then losing points to interceptions. That's a wild ride. It was also wild in reality. The Broncos
Jameis
against
Winston as your fantasy quarterback. You are a mad person.
The Broncos win the game. That's a 3-game run for them. They're 8-5 overall. It's a 2-game cushion now on the Colts for the last wild card spot. Yesterday's injury report includes a season-ending torn ACL for Taysom Hill, and the Giants shutting down D-tackle Dexter Lawrence for the rest of the way with an elbow issue. College football, Nebraska making Dana Holgorsen its full-time offensive coordinator after bringing him on as a consultant last month. And Florida State officially hiring Gus Malzahn as OC after he stepped down as UCF head coach. Now, 2 nights ago, the New Orleans Pelicans scored 28 first-half points before losing by 33 to the Knicks. Last night, just a 12-point loss in Atlanta, their 8th in a row, but they're trying, according to head coach Willie Green.
They're competitors. They definitely feel that. They walk into every arena believing they have a chance to win, and that's what we want.
It really didn't feel like they walked into the Garden Sunday thinking they were going to win that game. A 124.
What about when they were out the night before? When it was at 2 a.m.? Did they think, got to be at this arena soon?
Yeah, they punted on Sunday. They might have tried to win last night in Atlanta. They did not. 124-112, the final 12 points, 15 assists in that Hawks win for Trae Young. The Lakers losing in Minnesota, 109-80. Those their fewest points in 7 seasons. The Bulls ran away from the Nets for a 128-102 win. And the Celtics dumped the Heat, 108-89, 29 points for Jalen Brown, 25 off the bench from Peyton Pritchard. On ice, the Stars, 2-1 winners in Utah, and the Devils beat somebody 5-1. And finally, baseball, they don't need more gimmicky rule changes when they have huge free agent signings like this one. 34-year-old catcher Kyle Higashioka signing a 2-year deal with the Rangers.
That's the Yankee legend right there.
Let the radio segments begin. Mom, Dad, back to you.
Hey, so I thought JJ...
Oh, great, you're back.
Yeah, JJ Redick, didn't he have these masterful plays that he was going to run? How can they only score 80 points when they're... I've listened to the podcast. He had it all figured out.
Horns down.
Yeah, horns down. I was trying to remember what the thing... Like, it should be easy for JJ Redick to score 120 points on a nightly basis.
Well, here's the thing. When you're drawing up plays after 2 bottles of wine and then you get up the next morning, you're like, oh, man, what does this even say?
It's one of those things where you're hammered. That play looks great. In reality, on a Tuesday night in the NBA, might not work for Monday night.
It's like, hear me out. Bronny playing point.
Yeah. Okay, you're going to set a pick here, and then this guy's going to come here, draw it all up, and then
the peach basket will descend from the ceiling.
Yeah, then it's like it's a long Hachimura 3 that draws nothing but backboard.
My favorite thing about this season so far has been the out of bounds plays being so bad this year for the Lakers. Like, Laker fans are complaining because that feels like one of the things JJ Redick always talked about, the ATOs, the timeouts.
They're not good.
Oh my gosh! I mean, they've had some in late games where they're just like, "What kind of play was that?" One was taken for a pick 6 in the Oklahoma City game that they lost.
Pick 6.
Yeah. I mean, the guy just stole the ball right out of out of Austin Reeves' hands. It's like, and Laker fans are like, "I thought you were supposed to be good at this. This is literally all you talk about on the podcast."
So, is it possible that this JJ Redick thing is going as badly as it could?
Well, I was also thinking about when Manny's least favorite coach in college program, UConn, tumbled in the rankings after 2 losses. I'm like, maybe Hurley should have just taken this job, the Laker job. Maybe everyone would have been better off. We still would have had Woj. He wouldn't have been in Siberia.
Okay.
AKA St. Bonaventure.
I'd still look at players 6 through 9 in the Laker rotation, and I'll stay in UConn. Thanks for playing, though.
Lakers are 12-9. So,
right.
Yeah,
that's the thing, is that they're basically the same team they were with Darvin Ham.
Yeah,
and I think they're worse scoring wise, right? They're getting their scoring differential is worse than it was. With Darvin. Yeah.
Darvin was like this just absolute buffoon according to Lakers Nation, and they got this genius JJ Redick. The next Pat Riley was what we were hearing from the buses reportedly.
Right.
Oh no,
12-9.
Oh well.
Why would anyone say that? The next Pat Riley.
The Lakers, Maggie. That's why.
I know. 855-212-4227. Thank you so much, Bogus.
Mom, Dad, back to you.
Coming up, we do have a college football report card for you. Who made the grade over the weekend? We got that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Time to go. I have to go to class.
Why don't you call me sometime when you have no class?
Let's find out who made the grade after this weekend's college football action.
He is totally gonna kill at college.
What, like it's hard?
As of this moment, they're on double secret probation.
Maggie and Perloff hand out their college report card.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
One man's opinion. Welcome back, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Okay, so we do this throughout the week. College football report cards, and Perloff, this was a weekend where some major bad decisions were made. So EJ's going to give us a player, coach, a program, what have you, and we'll tell you what the grade is. Go ahead, EJ.
All right, let's go with my beloved Miami Hurricanes head coach, Mario Cristobal, after the Canes lost to the Cuse in the Dome on Saturday.
I mean, would they have converted a 4th and goal from the 17? I don't know, but I would rather have put the ball in Cam Ward's hands and try to make him figure it out, because deciding to kick a field goal, Perloff, when neither defense could stop the other, especially your defense, made Kyle McCord look like a first-round pick. I think it was a bad move. I think it's a bad grade and deserving of a bad grade. I'm going to give Mario Cristobal a D+.
Well, here's the question, though. What was your baseline grade for Mario Cristobal?
A D-.
Is there like a curve for him? Because
A C.
does anybody think he's a good coach? And correct me if I'm wrong, like the defense, like no one thought he was a defensive guy, right? Or,
No, he's more of an offensive line guy.
Yeah. I mean, it's his background. He's never really been an OC. Is all offense. So I think his only pass is that nobody expected much out of him, and he needs a new defensive coordinator. So I'm going to give him a solid C.
I mean, may have cost your team a trip to the college football
I don't think that
playoff.
field goal decision, and I know exactly what you're talking about, I don't think that cost him the game, because I think Syracuse could have kept on scoring anyway. I don't know. And also, too, well, it wasn't 4th and 17. It was
fourth
and 11 or something.
It was like around the 10-9.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, but again, and also they did have actually missed some, like Cam Ward was awesome, but the offense wasn't totally smooth the whole time. I don't think they were going to hit that play. That's a hard pass to make because the defense is so jammed in there. Whatever. Anyway, regardless, I think
one of the best quarterbacks in the country. He's the reason why you're here. To take the ball out of his hands. I will always disagree with.
Why didn't he get a yard in the first 3 attempts if he's so unbelievable?
Oh, so we had a stupid penalty
Yeah,
from
of course.
Jacoby George because he's a knucklehead. I digress. Anyway, let's get to Kirby Smart, who survived clean, old-fashioned hate against Georgia Tech. They win in 8 overtimes. What are you giving Kirby Smart for a grade?
Are we talking about this week or lifetime? I mean, we'll just go with this week. I think it's like a C. And I know everyone loves Kirby Smart, and he knows more football than you and I ever will, Perloff. But his team's inconsistency, to me, is more to do with the coaching staff than with the talent. You can't stockpile 5 stars like you used to before the NIL era, but that doesn't mean that Georgia's hurting for guys. And I think it's crazy how inconsistent this team has been. And to take 8 overtimes, I know Haynes King is a dog, but that's crazy to me. Giving him a C.
Yeah, Haynes King is a dog. Like Kirby Smart should be able to contain Georgia Tech. Give me a break. You're right. He gets a D. Like, what happened to the defensive genius of Kirby Smart? That defense might not show up at all. They have. I do think that depth thing makes a big difference. When you can like alternate Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, they used to squeeze teams by the fourth quarter because they were so big and strong in defense, and now they can't at all. I give them, again, because the defense is a D. But here's the thing. You have any idea what Georgia team is going to show up in the next game? That is confusing. Kirby is kind of hurting his legacy a little bit this year. I think last year he got a pass because he didn't make that Final Four. But, I think this year he's been exposed a little bit because it seemed like he was the new Nick Saban, right?
Definitely. I'm not willing to say he's hurting the legacy yet. I mean, he's still won 2 titles, so I'm not going to say that. But this,
he had a mystique going after their back-to-back titles. So again, I'm talking about a very, very high legacy. He was like the new Saban. He was the number 1 coach, no doubt about it. And I don't think that's really necessarily the case anymore.
Yeah, the schizophrenia of this team is maddening to watch.
How about Travis Hunter, who had 3 receiving touchdowns, also 116 yards, and Colorado's 52-0 win over Oklahoma State. Also had a pick in this game.
I mean, I give him an A-, only the minus because there was some garbage time going on, feeding him for Heisman stats. I did hear some really interesting analysis. Like, he has not faced the best wide receivers, so there's a lot of doubt about how, not doubt, but lack of knowledge. Is he really like a top 5 pick at cornerback? So people are wondering that. And then the other question becomes, is he a top 5 pick at wide receiver? And he's in the Big 12, so they're not sure about that. So he's amazing, but my question is this a college thing or is this a pro thing? It's really interesting in the draft. Like, you watch him now, by the way, half the conversation on social media is about him as a draft because the season's over for Colorado.
Yeah.
It's incredible. He's won the Heisman. He's spectacular. He's physically incredible. But I think people are going to wonder, like, show me the tape where he proves he is the best at this position.
That's interesting. I think the draft process is going to help him, though, not hurt him. Is it fair to wonder about the level of competition? He's still playing in a major conference. I think we asked that of guys.
Yeah, it's just hard at cornerback. Like, you do have a sense, is he going to be a one-on-one shutdown guy like we saw, like Patrick Surtain?
I'm going to give him an A+. I just think the fact that Hunter has, I know there's some stat padding going on, but the fact that he continues to be this productive. You can only play who's on your schedule. They won 56-0 against Oklahoma State.
52, I think.
52 is a whitewash.
Yeah.
But to me, like, he deserves a lot of credit for having all this hype and then living up to it, maybe exceeding it. Because not to pat myself on the back, but when I picked him for my preseason Heisman, it was like 50-1.
How much did you win off that?
Quite a bit. I can check my draft account in a second. $5 bets, obviously. Just all for funsies, guys. But it's I give him a lot of credit there. Okay, who's next?
All right, so let's go to Will Howard from the game through 2 picks in Ohio State's loss to their rivals, Michigan.
I give him an incomplete because did we see him? Did he have any passes where it wasn't 2nd and 9 or 3rd and 9? Did he throw a first down pass in the second half of the game? Like, what? How is he supposed to do anything? Like, it was always the wrong down and distance for that dude. So, honestly, it's not his fault. That's all I will say. The pick in the end zone was awful.
Yeah,
the second pick was terrible.
You're being generous, and I get what you're talking about.
He could have ripped off 6 more 20-yard passes.
Both of those picks were bad.
Yeah, but there were so many passes that were on the table for him that he clearly could hit. Like, his yards per attempt were not bad. He could have ripped for 400 yards yesterday, and they just did not let him throw the ball.
I'm giving him a C-. We talked about this, and it's funny because Jim Nagy, who was a longtime NFL scout, now runs the Senior Bowl, thinks that he could be like a sneaky good pro. I don't see it. I think that I don't trust him. And the interceptions were just bad. So C-, and I'll give Ryan Day an F-.
But you don't think
he's on this one.
You honestly don't think that was Chip Kelly's fault? Like the whole thing?
I think that, a lot of it was the game plan, and I don't think that he executed well when he was given an opportunity.
I don't know. There were a lot of big gains that, like, did feel when he dropped back, like,
they had a
Michigan
great drive at the end of the half. The end of the first half, that tempo was awesome. They never went back to it. It was maddening. I get it.
And finally, let's go to another rivalry game, the Iron Bowl. How about Jalen Milroe, who led Alabama to a win after last week's loss to Oklahoma? They beat Auburn this week.
I'm a little disappointed in my guy, Jalen. It feels like he's a little bit worse at this point in the season. He just does not feel the pressure behind him, so he's prone to a lot of fumbles. And he's got like the Shador Cam Ward thing where he thinks he can make any play. It's just like that offense is not like clicking right now. So even if they do make the 12-team playoff, like they just doesn't feel like peak Alabama. It feels a little worse than they were. So I'm going to give him a B-.
I'm starting to wonder who the real Jalen Milroe really is. Because let's remember last year, it took an all-time play in the Iron Bowl to avoid an upset for Alabama. Then they did win the SEC championship game, which was a good game for him. And then it was an all-time game against Michigan. But who is the real Milroe? I don't think I know. For this game specifically, though, I'm going to give him, what'd you give him, a B-?
I give him B-. I mean, he lost 2 fumbles that were kept Auburn.
I think C+. And I think he should go back to college. I don't know if he's going to actually be a first-round pick.
I got to be honest. I don't think he's a great Kalen DeBoer quarterback.
Maybe he should transfer somewhere. Go somewhere else. Go play for Lincoln Riley. I don't know.
Well, why would you transfer and not just go maybe second-round pick in the pros? I hear you're right, and I think actually he will go back to Alabama. I think that makes perfect sense. Here's the thing about him. When he decides I'm going to plant my foot and run, like, it's a problem. So, and we did see that. There was a point of the season where they tried to make him to a pocket quarterback. It didn't work. He's gotten back to running, and he's pretty darn good at it. So I think if they do make the 12 team, then it's Jalen run the whole time, right? Like, then that's a tough thing to deal with.
Yeah, but is he a good enough running quarterback?
Oh my God, he's amazing.
For the NFL?
No, I mean, no, I'm talking about in college. Yeah, I mean, yes, he's going to be as good a runner as anyone in the league. But is he good enough passing quarterback?
855-212-4227. There's your college football report card. You can agree or disagree with us as much as you like. Did you guys see the Alabama now? odds in their favor to make the college football playoff.
Is that the latest?
That is the latest. We're going to find out. Tonight will be the penultimate rank, second to last. Sorry, did I have to explain that? We all know
good English.
No, it sounds like one of those bougie words that after you say, you're like, oh, did I just say penultimate?
I'm sorry. I know like 5 big words. That's one of them. All right, coming up. Boy, do we have a marriage made in heaven.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Born in the summer of '94, Zach Hill came to play. From Philly to the airwaves, making noise every day. Temple's pride on whip, sports director in the booth, and turning '94 whip, where he sharpened up his truth. From the Jersey air on Fox Sports 90/20 to Eagles post games, making Mondays funny. Late nights on CBS, the Mad Dog in the mix. Now he's prime time 3 to 6. From the Jersey air on Fox Sports 90/30 to Eagles post games, making Mondays funny. Late nights on CBS and Mad Dog in the mix. Now he's prime time 3 to 6. Oh, Zach jumps on the air, turn the dial up. Last one stop legend in the making Daddy Bob proud. CBS Sports Radio every afternoon. Zach's got the taste that'll make you swoon. They say 2 a.m.'s for sleepers, but Zach changed the rule. National spotlight, just a kid out of school. Then he jumped to Sirius, NFL, and Mad Dog shows. CBS calling back, primetime flows. Now he's breaking news, taking calls on the fly. From touchdowns to trades, he's the sports talk guy. From Philly roots to national clout, comes the host we can't live without. Oh, Zach jumps on the air, turn the dial up. Last one stop legend in the making Daddy Bob proud. CBS Sports Radio every afternoon. Zach's got the taste that'll make you swoon. Now he's breaking news, taking calls on the fly. From touchdowns to trades, he's the sports talk guy. From Philly roots to national clouds, comes the host we can't live without. Philly to the nation, he's got the drive. Every hot take, every call keeps the show alive. He's Bob Chubb's son, but he made his own name. Zach Chubb's the future of the sports talk game. Oh, Zach Chubb's on the air, turn the dial up. Last one stop legend in the making Daddy Bob proud. CBS Sports Radio every afternoon. Zach's got the taste that'll make you swoon. So if you love your sports talk, bold and smart, Zach Chubb's the guy with the fire and heart. From Temple to CBS, he's the voice on the scene, the king of the mic, the sports talk machine.
One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Nix with a pair of receivers on each side. Takes a shotgun snap, drops 3 yards into the end zone, loads it up deep, ball down middle of the field. He's got Mims there. Mims is gone. 40, 30, 20, 15, 10, high stepping into the south end zone. Touchdown Denver, 93 yards.
Thank you to the Broncos Radio Network. That was Bo Nix, the rookie, connecting with Marvin Mims in what was a wild game last night, Monday Night Football. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. This is an exciting one. I don't think many people were on the over. Tons of points scored in this one. The Broncos outlast the Browns 41-32. And listen, was Bo Nix perfect? No, he wasn't perfect, but he certainly has one of the brightest futures of the rookie quarterbacks. He's chasing down Jalen Daniels now for offensive rookie of the year. Last night, 18 for 35, 294 yards, a touchdown. He did have 2 picks in the game, but for him, Jameis Winston had 3 picks in the game. Jameis Winston, the Browns quarterback on the other side, 3 interceptions and 2 pick sixes, which made Bo Nix's night look just a little bit better.
Yeah, and it's interesting. You saw Bo Nix, like any quarterback, he was completely affected by pressure, and he hurried things up. One of the picks was an incredible play by Denzel Ward to knock the ball up in the air. I'm not sure I don't think he's going to catch Jayden Daniels. I feel like Jayden Daniels had the narrative from the beginning. And Nix he's got the Chargers coming up. He's got some tough defenses coming up. I think Jayden Daniels sneaks away with this, but who cares? Because Bo Nix looks like the real deal.
Well, I think what helps Jayden Daniels is his team is also a playoff team.
Yeah,
if it would have been Bo Nix with the Broncos sitting there 8-5, one of the stunning stories, really, of the entire year. The Broncos were not picked to be anywhere close to the playoffs, even with maybe a future Hall of Fame head coach in Sean Payton.
Yeah.
And here they are hanging on for a playoff spot. And the fact, though, that Jayden Daniels looks like he's going to be in the playoffs, I think probably helps Daniels.
Yeah, and Daniels' numbers are just a little bit better.
Yeah.
But then again, the award does not matter. The thing that I get excited about is the marriage of the coach and the quarterback. Nix is so different than the Drew Brees comparison. That doesn't feel Drew Brees-ish to me. I get what people are saying, but he's not like a short little guy who just climbs up in the pocket and can dart around. Like, he can run. That's a big factor, and he's a pretty strong dude as well. I think this is great. I think the team has a lot of work to do. I still think they might be 2 years away to get the whole Sean Payton thing going. Although I think Broncos fans were like, all right, let's do it right now.
Listen, the last time the Broncos made the playoffs, Peyton Manning was under center. So, yeah, it's okay to get excited about this. That was 2015. I mean, we're talking about almost 10 years. It's great that it looks like something is building, because I'm going to be honest, after last year, I wasn't too impressed with Sean Payton. I didn't think that was a very good team, and the fact that Russell Wilson's having this good to very good season with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they're a 9-win team, I thought made Sean Payton look even worse. But the fact that he's developing Nix is looking like he's going to be the future there. They picked right on the draft pick. Everything is trending in the right direction. Here's another thing. I think just to make the playoffs with a rookie quarterback is always a bonus, right? This is cool experience for him. There's not going to be a lot of pressure to win. It's just sort of get your feet wet on that stage and in these big games. But there's a possibility that a Nix-Sean Payton combination can actually take advantage of this rookie window. Now, they have all this dead money. Right. They got all this dead money because of Russell Wilson's ridiculous contract. But if Russ signs a new contract next year, some of that money, I believe, will offset. Maybe that frees up a little bit more capital for them to go out and make some more free agent signings. And maybe you can actually make something of this rookie window with Nix.
Yeah, I mean, again, get some play. I mean, Trevor Lawrence got some playoff experience in his second year. Justin Herbert got some playoff experience in his second year it doesn't always, like, there's a long way to go. And I think this 8-5 record is mainly a function of their schedule more than where they are. They're not that dissimilar a team than last year when they were 8-9. They're kind of in the same ballpark. They 0-5 against winning teams this year. They've had the NFC South on their schedule. I'm very curious to see how they finish. Chargers, let's judge them. Chargers in that week 18 game against the Chiefs, because I think the Chiefs are going to be playing for something. It seems very likely the Chiefs are going to be battling your Bills for the number 1 seed. How far are they really? It's kind of hard to tell when you're playing the Browns, because the Browns are an utter joke.
It is true. You're right. But the only part about this is, I think because of the Peyton combination with Knicks, I give them a little bit more of a leg up than, say, Trevor Lawrence, who you mentioned, did get some playoff experience.
I mean, you picked them to win the Super Bowl the next year. They were looking great.
Because I thought they were going to have the easy schedule and get the number 1 seed and have this sort of like inside track. That was,
because they're in the AFC South. Your logic was not wrong.
Yeah, it turned out it was severely flawed. But, think about this. Trevor Lawrence is basically, his whole rookie season gets wiped out because Urban Meyer was such a disaster there. You're talking about Justin Herbert. I had to be with Brandon Staley for those years. Like the combination with the coach, I think, is what makes me more optimistic.
CJ Stroud looked like he was destined to be like
and they're
right
a playoff
there.
team, Perot.
Yeah,
I know the Houston Texans don't look exactly like last season, but they are a playoff team and they're going to win their division.
He's taken a step back though because his offensive line crumbled around him. Actually, a pretty major step back. So again, it's not always a straight line. I do like it. Bo Nix is 24 as well, so let's not act like he's not going to be developed and in his prime in this window. I like your idea of the 5-year window. When do they get out of Russell Wilson? In 2 years, no more ramifications from that.
Again, I think that if Russ ends up signing a sizable deal in this offseason, I think it offsets some of the money. I believe. I read that this morning.
That it offsets cap space?
Some of the dead cap. That it's I'd have to double check it, but I think it's possible. So if Russell Wilson signs a Daniel Jones type money, type contract, I believe that the Broncos get a little bit of relief there.
I did not know that it worked like that.
855-212-4227. Okay, so we're talking about last night's game. You're welcome to weigh in on the Broncos. Browns. Good luck to you, Browns. I don't have a quarterback situation. I don't have a good quarterback solution for the Browns. Can we hear Jameis Winston last night, Manny? Cut 19. Jameis turning to a higher power to try to help with this pick sixes.
In times like this, it's an opportunity to continue to glorify the Lord even through the toughest circumstances. I know I'm better than this. I know I'm just praying for the Lord to deliver me from pick sixes. That's not me. A phenomenal game, offense, do some great things, but I messed it up.
Listen, everyone has their beliefs. I respect them all.
Kudos to me.
We might need a little more, coaching and stuff before we go straight to the higher being. There's levels to this thing. Because if we're waiting around for a miracle, well, that one's not coming. You know what I'm saying?
He's been dealing with this for years, Maggie. Sometimes at a certain point, you just got to look up and say, hey, I need some help.
I mean, do we need more evidence that perhaps God's not a Browns fan?
Well, no.
I mean, come on.
There's a line last night where Aikman goes, man, Winston was with Sean Payton in New Orleans. He's like, I give Sean Payton a lot of credit for coaching the interceptions out of Jameis Winston. It might have been 2 plays later that Winston threw it. Basically, threw it right at a Bronco. It's like, yeah, I'm not sure Peyton did a good enough job on that one. But you can see the way Winston plays. He's just going to sling it in there. The window might be 2 inches wide, and he's like, I can make this play.
Yeah.
I can make this play.
I'd say before, we really start looking to the higher being, can you change your own behavior, Help God out a little bit.
And then he did get, a major chance. The Broncos deciding not to double team Jerry Jeudy after, 180 yards was probably a choice, as you like to say.
Yeah, that was a choice. Jerry Jeudy, revenge game last night against his former team. 9 receptions on 13 targets, 235 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah, but the Browns could not stop the run. Where did that come from? The Browns defense was supposed to be good at a certain point. That's the other side. You have Myles Garrett. You're kind of wasting him.
Yeah.
He's like a TJ Watt, Nick Bosa level player. You should be able to win with him on the field. And your defense is terrible right now.
855-212-4227. Okay, so you've got the Browns. If anyone's got any quarterback solutions, we're all ears. Because if the draft was today, they'd be picking 8th. So it's not exactly the catbird seat to try to get one of the top quarterbacks. And I don't even know how many top quarterbacks there are in this draft, to be honest.
Yeah, it does not look like a good quarterback draft. And the free agency, they can't afford free agency because Watson's taking up all the cap. Say they wanted Derek Carr, let's throw it out there.
Sure.
I don't actually know if say he cuts loose, or Kirk Cousins, say he's on the trade. They can't pay those guys. So there's no veteran who's coming in.
Coming up in just a little bit, we're going to talk to Cardale Jones, the former Ohio State quarterback. He watches college, obviously, very closely, and he played in the NFL, so maybe he's got a solution for the Browns that we're not thinking of. Meanwhile, the Bears yesterday said that their head coaching vacancy will be the most sought-after position in the NFL, a sought-after head coaching opening in the NFL. We're not so sure about that. Chris is in Indianapolis, has a thought. Hey, Chris, how are you?
Good, how are you? Thanks for having me. I just think Vrabel's the fit. I really think that you got to have a good defensive guy in there, especially to stop these 3 offenses that are just rolling right now. I feel like a younger guy can get a hold of it. They got a good defense to build off of. So I think they ought to go with Vrabel. Give it, like you guys said, give this retread a shot. I mean, kick those tires, see what they can get down the road from him, and I think they'll be happy. I think that city kind of fits him. Linebacker, followed, Buckus, Ditka type of guy, and I think he's a good fit. But thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
My fear about Vrabel is he's going to recreate the Titans who never used their quarterback. Like, you have a Ferrari, a quarterback. I'm not sure I want Vrabel. I'm sorry. I think, I'm going to say it. This is going to sound bad, and don't cut this, Manny. I take Cliff Kingsbury over Vrabel. Give me, I want 38 touchdowns out of Caleb Williams. I do not want a really tough-nosed 11-6 team that loses in the second round.
Wow. So you'd rather just have gaudy stats than wins?
I do think, like, honestly, I'm not a huge defensive coach guy. Like, I think Vrabel is going to coach the fun out of that quarterback. Yes, I do. I really am concerned about that.
Wait, but is there a possibility? Let's give Mike Vrabel the benefit of the doubt here. He was coaching a team that had Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you run the ball? And Tannehill, by the way, was not bad in that offense and ended up getting a pretty sizable payday from the Titans and sort of resurrected his career. But still, I ask you, if you're just being smart and you want to win games and you have Derrick Henry and you have Ryan Tannehill, who are you putting the ball in their hands to win the game? It's definitely Henry. Now, if you have Caleb Williams with DJ Moore, then maybe he's got a different tune.
So you take, yeah.
I would take Vrabel 100 times before Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah, I guess. Well, Kingsbury nobody wants, but I just don't want to see it. If they hire Vrabel, I'm sure they'll be good. I just don't know if that's like the best way to fix Caleb Williams, because right now, not fix Caleb Williams, develop Caleb Williams. I think you need like an offensive minded guy. Then again, Sean McDermott's a coach in Buffalo, and Allen did develop. But generally, though, most of the defensive coaches in the NFL are quite conservative.
But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing when you're a cold weather team that's playing in Chicago.
But look at your quarterback, though. You got to get him running around and making a lot of plays and high volume plays and throwing the ball like 40 times a game.
855-212-4227. All right. I like the idea of Mike McCarthy. I actually didn't hate that idea. I don't think Bears fans would be that excited about Mike McCarthy.
Did you put up that poll?
I did put up that poll.
What's the poll, BJ?
All right, so we asked the question, who would be a better fit as the Chicago Bears' next head coach, Mike McCarthy or Ben Johnson? 74% say Ben Johnson, while 26% say Mike McCarthy.
I thought that was going to be a 95-5 one.
It still might be by the end of the show.
You
can go
know
vote at
that.
Maggie and Pearl.
You know people don't like Mike McCarthy, right?
I am aware of that.
The first comment here is a gif of Michael Clark Duncan saying, "Don't you put that evil on me." I assume that's a Bears fan talking about Mike McCarthy.
855-212-4227. Yeah, Manny.
And Bob, the Talladega Nights fan as well.
Exactly. Did you guys see, I saw someone's Thanksgiving that they reenacted Talladega Nights. Got all the food, like from the food sponsors.
From the fast food restaurants.
Exactly.
What a great movie. I love that movie.
And did it for Thanksgiving. Man, Okay, so we've got Bears' next head coach trying to solve that quagmire. We also have how impressed are you by the Broncos? Maybe not at all. Perloff thinks they're a function of their schedule.
That sounds really mean, but it's totally accurate.
855-212-4227. Still unpacking the stunning loss to Michigan. To Michigan for Ohio State. I'll get it right. Former quarterback Cardale Jones is now an analyst for CBS Sports and CBS Sports HQ, and he will join us next.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Wipes the bottom of his sneakers. Corbuccio wipes the bottom of his sneakers. He's guarded by Lawson. Play in action. Corbuccio gets a screen from Ratliff. Corbuccio driving. Finds Ratliff. Free throw line. Jay. Yes! Clock continues to run. Panthers have one final chance. Here's Kennedy. Kennedy with 5. Step back. Jay. Yes! Oh, Josiah Kennedy! Ice cold! Timeout, Stepanak! Corbuccio wipes the bottom of his sneakers. He's guarded by Lawson. Play in action. Corbuccio gets a screen from Ratliff. Corbuccio driving! Finds Ratliff. Free throw line. Jay. Yes! Clock continues to run. Panthers have one final chance. Here's Kennedy. Kennedy with 5. Step back. Jay. Yes! Kennedy with 5. Step back. Jay. Yes! Step back. Jay. Yes! Jay. Yes! Yes! Oh, Josiah Kennedy! Ice cold! Timeout, Stepanak! Yeah!
3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining.
Corbuccio wipes the bottom of his sneakers. He's guarded by Lawson. Play in action. Corbuccio gets a screen from Ratliff. Corbuccio driving. Finds Ratliff. Free throw line. Jay. Yes! Clock continues to run. Panthers have one final chance. Here's Kennedy. Kennedy with 5. Step back. Jay. Yes!
1 minute, 30 seconds remaining.
Oh, Josiah Kennedy! Ice cold! Timeout, Stepanak!
One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. Pretty excited. Coming up is Cardale Jones. If I'm an Ohio State fan or former player, I'm feeling some sort of way right now, Maggie.
Probably like sick to your stomach.
Yeah, that's tough.
But here's the thing. You still have a lot of season left potentially.
But here's the thing. You lost to Michigan.
Yeah, that also is a thing. Andrew Bogish has headlines for us on this fine Tuesday. Folks.
Guys, good morning. And those headlines are sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Protect your family, your phone, your furry friends with life, electronic device, and pet health insurance. I hate Manny. Jameis Winston threw for 497 yards on Monday Night Football. Just less than half of those yards went to Jerry Jeudy in his return to Denver.
With the play clock winding down, Jameis has the snap, takes a deep drop, and he wants a deep shot. He has Jeudy running free. He has it at the 30, the 20. Jerry Jeudy to the far pylon, high stepping and falling backwards into the end zone. Touchdown, Browns! 70 yards.
Andrew Siciliano on Browns radio. Jeudy racking up 235 yards and that score on 9 catches. Those the most yards any receiver has had in his first game against a former team.
You know, it was high emotions, but you always, like I said before, you all want to beat the team that you used to play for, but we came up short. Like I said, we got to find a way to finish, find a way to win.
Jeudy and the Browns losing 41-32 after erasing an 11-point third quarter hole, but then Will Lutz kicked a go-ahead field goal with 3 minutes to go, and then Jameis offered up his second pick six of the evening. So the Broncos on a 3-game win streak, 8-5 overall. They are 2 games clear of the Colts for the last wild card spot. Christian McCaffrey and Jordan Mason, both of them going on IR in San Francisco. CMC does not need surgery for his PCL injury, but needs 6 weeks to recover. Mason has a high ankle sprain. App State fired football coach Sean Clark yesterday, 40-24 over his 5 seasons, but they just had their first losing campaign since 2013. It also helped the school that Clark's buyout reportedly dropped by $500,000 yesterday. And this will definitely fix things. The ACC fining and publicly reprimanding North Carolina, NC State, Virginia, and Virginia Tech for Saturday's fights. The Carolina schools had theirs postgame. The Virginia schools squared off pregame. The Boston Celtics' current hot streak is 8 wins in 9 games.
Derek White into the corner. Pretty good look. Peyton Pritchard for 3.
Why is Miami in the zone? I mean, you're talking about a team that shoots threes. That's all they want you to do is be in the zone. Stupid.
Seth Maxwell does not mess around. He and Sean Grandy on Celtics radio. Peyton Pritchard scored 25, 29 for Jalen Brown in the 108-89 decision over the Heat. The Lakers took a 108.
Hold on one second. Eric Spoelstra is not a stupid coach.
Well, he was last night, apparently.
Okay.
I mean, he did call a timeout when they didn't have one, like Chris Webber. Maybe he's having a stupid year.
Yeah, maybe he's just... but why?
He's tired like LeBron.
Sense.
He's not going to coach all 82 games. He's going to take a couple off.
We know that he'd take off like 95% of the season and then try to just get in the playoffs at the end.
Jimmy Butler didn't play again last night.
There you go. Is he trolling, as Pat Riley said, or is he actually hurt?
I don't know. What does a barista have to say about it?
The Lakers 109-80 losers in Minnesota. LeBron just 10 points, 4 of 16 shooting. The Pelicans took their 8th loss in a row, 124-112 in Atlanta. And the WNBA released its schedule yesterday. May 16th is opening night and includes the expansion Valkyries making their debut against LA. Year 2 for Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese begin the next night with a head-to-head meeting. Guys, back to you.
Well, that's smart.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I'll get gigantic numbers.
Yeah, without a doubt. That's going to be really cool. Have we come to a consensus yet on the golden at-bat? Now, if you guys are just waking up, just getting going here, the golden at-bat is something that's being tossed around, potentially, workshopped by Major League Baseball owners at the last owners' meetings. This one got a little traction, according to Rob Manfred, where potentially at any time in the game, when you're up to bat, you can invoke a golden at bat, which means you can sub out whoever's supposed to be hitting and put someone else there. Now, it's not a pinch hit. That's someone who has to come off the bench. This is anyone who's already in the game, and potentially maybe someone who's even on the bases already could go back and head back to home plate and hit again in this one-time golden at bat.
Well, we have no idea about the actual logistics of, especially that guy on base. I saw a lot of traditional baseball writers do not like it.
Shocker.
But Manfred's on fire with the changes. I mean, he basically, his entire legacy was turned around by the fact that he put in the pitch clock. I think like he was hated, and now he's sort of on a roll. So I think he's going to keep pushing. I think this is very possible.
This would change things in such a different way, though, than even the pitch clock. The pitch clock, I get.
What are you talking about? This is about one at bat a game.
That could change, but that could change everything. That could change everything. The idea that you would have a substitution in this way, again, that's not like a pinch hit, just kind of takes away from one part of Major League Baseball that can be really magical, which is, A, the happenstance that in a bases loaded, bottom of the ninth, 2-out situation, you get a Juan Soto, an Aaron Judge, or a Shohei Ohtani, or an opportunity for some people to write themselves into the history books like a Jim Leyritz or someone like that who comes off the bench and has some crazy pinch hit home run in a World Series or something of that magnitude. Like you're engineering this thing to try to create these moments. And while I get that fans may want it, it definitely changes the sport in a more fundamental way than the pitch clock does.
Well, think about how fans consume sports right now. Like the NBA, for example, is usually consumed in YouTube highlights the next morning. And you have a son, right? Bogus, does he watch live games or does he watch the highlights the next morning?
I don't know that he actually does either, but certainly more highlights than live games.
So creating the actual in-game moments can be recreated in a highlight. And on YouTube, what's the difference? You don't know if it's a golden bat or just a normal bat.
Right,
to see Juan Soto going against their best closer is fun.
I get that, but I guess maybe this is a broader conversation. Having a great YouTube highlight is great for Major League Baseball's YouTube channel, but don't they want people to watch the games? Isn't that the whole point?
I think
if it's not going to do that, what's the difference?
And this is an NBA thing. Like you have to understand, you have to meet the audience where they are. People consume sports so differently. No, I don't think live TV ratings matter. I know because I have a friend who works for the NBA tangentially. He's like, yeah, we don't care about ratings because that's not how people consume TV anymore.
So they're basing all their successes off of how many views and clips?
They're trying to put it all together. Like how much exposure are we giving our product to advertisers? So the NBA is trying to get that narrative going big time. It's not just about TV ratings because they don't have any TV ratings.
Well, that's true, but somehow the NBA got this massive TV/streaming deal that just happened. So they think it must correlate.
And that's based on people watching.
I would think. Not based on people consuming the highlights.
Right.
I don't know.
Like Amazon doesn't want you to watch YouTube NBA highlights. They want you to watch NBA games, pay for Prime to watch NBA games.
Right, but they know if a kid watches a ton of YouTube highlights, he's more likely to watch a game. I think that they're trying to grow the whole thing. I mean, ask the NBA. They've been trying to say this all along. They're like, hey, people are watching us in different ways.
No, I understand that. And all the leagues have gotten, I think all of them are better at like what is allowed to be put online. They used to fight you for like posting video that you can't, that you weren't allowed to put up there. But I don't know. This seems too far for me. It's
Shohei
just too
Ohtani
much.
striking out Mike Trout had 14 million views on social media. That is what MLB wants. They want to create those moments that get people talking about the sport, that get people engaged, that at the end of the day brings more support, brings more money, and that's what they're trying to do with this. And it's not the sport that I grew up on, but I'm an old head now. Like, I got to just live with that. And that's what I feel like for baseball fans that are upset with this. We got to understand that the times are changing.
But that was also the USA versus Japan in a World Baseball Classic, and it was literally best on best. That's not recreated a Brewers-Reds game on a Wednesday night in June. That conversation's not happening the next morning.
Here's the one thing about it. We've always said to Major League Baseball, what's the one thing that they do, I would say, worse than any other league, which is promote their stars. Is this a way where you get more stars on stars, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
That World Baseball Classic, though, was so unique because when are you having one of the most famous baseball players of all time, outside, I guess, Mariano Rivera, closing a game? Like, think of what it took to get to that moment. The fact that Shohei has to be the modern-day Babe Ruth, and then you have to have his teammate and one of the great hitters of all time up as well. It was crazy.
And $14 million, that's a big number?
Like one play? That's huge. Are you kidding me?
I think it's a big
I had 15 million views when I happened to catch Adam Gase doing smelling salts right before the first play of the Jets preseason game.
That's a huge, that's a massive tweet. That's one tweet. I mean, there's plenty of other. That's just MLB's posts.
Okay.
There's other posts that have also millions of views. That was the highest I found just quickly. I mean, it's a whole different time now.
So here's a couple ideas. So it could just be one at bat at any time. This would be the golden at bat. You could also, each team gets a golden at bat per game, except only in the 7th inning or later, or only the team that's trailing or tied in the 9th or later gets a golden at bat.
And the more qualifications you put on it, the less likely it is to happen every single day. So are people going to be watching a full game hoping that 2 hours after first pitch this situation arises?
No, this is made for highlights and second guessing. And I guess in our business, that's a good thing. But I don't know how much fans really want their sport fundamentally changed in this way. Bogish, thanks so much. 855-212-4227 if you want to wait on the golden at bat. We're still looking for a new name for this thing. Let's help Major League Baseball out. We don't love golden at bat. Okay, let's turn our attention to a man who won a national title for the Ohio State Buckeyes. He is now a CBS Sports college football analyst. He's going to be part of CBS Sports HQ's on-site coverage for the Big Ten championship game. That's going to be Oregon and Penn State, which will air 8 p.m. on Saturday on CBS and Paramount+. He was also a draft pick for my Buffalo Bills. Cardale Jones joins the show. Cardale, thanks so much for the time. How are you?
Good morning, guys, and thanks for having me.
You know, before we get into Ohio State, Michigan, can we just take a left turn for a second? As a quarterback, when you watch Jameis Winston, what goes through your mind? Because this dude is such an adventure. He's obviously a very prolific passer, but the pick sixes are coming, Cardale. As a fellow QB, what do you see when you watch Jameis Winston last night?
I see a guy that's extremely hard worker, a guy that's trying to do everything in his power to help his team get that notch. And sometimes as a quarterback, and I think we're all guilty of it, if you ever played this position, that you make some ill-advised decisions because you're on the side of pressing versus playing within the system. And unfortunately, that usually costs us. But when it don't, I mean, those plays usually are huge for your team. And Jameis has been going both ways for him, dating back to his days, at Tampa Bay. But I do think, he's given his team a chance to be in these games. But, I know the Browns not fighting for much as far as a playoff spot, but he has a lot of pride. He loves the city. He loves his team, and he's trying to do his best out there to make everyone proud.
Yeah, I mean, Cardale, you're a Cleveland native, I believe. Do you see a future quarterback? Like, how are they going to fix this spot that they've been trying so hard to get figured out?
That's a great question. Thank God I'm not the general manager of trying to make those decisions and find the future quarterback for the Browns. But I think it's a lot of great young quarterbacks coming out this draft in the early rounds and even the later rounds if some of these guys slip to the second and third round. And I think they're going to go in that direction, definitely with the Deshaun Watson situation of his injury and not knowing how he's going to be next year, and then his contract situation, and then Jameis as well with his 1-year deal. I think it is. They probably start looking for a guy for the future, but whoever they bring in, I hope Deshaun and Jameis is still around to help these young quarterbacks groom and really get through some of these tough growing pains that you see each year from rookie quarterbacks who just throw it into the fire.
One of the great all-time stories was Cardale Jones winning a national title for the Ohio State Buckeyes. It really was thrilling when you did it, Cardale, now working for CBS Sports as a college football analyst. Before we get into the fallout of your team, the stunning upset by Michigan, just broadly, who do you think is the best quarterback in college football right now?
I go with Shedeur Sanders. I think he's the most consistent. I think I look at his years of 1 and 2 here at Colorado was almost like a rookie year in the NFL of a quarterback catching fire. And this year right here is his sophomore year. Just playing at this level, coming from an HBCU where, the competition level isn't as competitive as this Power 4, Power 5 conference since he's been playing in the last 2 years. His consistent growth, his decision-making, his leadership. And that's no knock on any other quarterback in this class. Like, I do think this is one of the deepest quarterback classes in the last recent years. You're going to have some great guys in the first round. You're going to have some guys in the second and in the third round that's going to potentially be the franchise guys for these programs moving forward at the National Football League. But if I was the GM and I had the number one pick, and usually if you got number one pick, you got some quarterback problems in your organization, I'm going with Shedeur Sanders.
Cardale, we're big Cam Ward fans here, the Miami quarterback, but he holds on to the ball forever. Is that something that an NFL team would try to help him with coaching-wise, or do you draft him and just know that's what you're going to get?
He's my if Shedeur's my 1A, he's my 1B. I don't think you can go wrong with neither one of these guys. I think both these guys are still developing products of the quarterback position. Neither one is a finish yet. And I think Cam, some of the things that he brings to the table is going to help an organization take that next step as well. But it goes back to my comment about the Browns. I hope both of these guys go into situations where it's veteran leadership, veteran quarterbacks in these rooms where they can help them transition. Cam, I think, as a product of holding that ball a little bit longer than some people may think because he's such a dynamic playmaker. He can make guys miss in the backfield. And he's also behind a really good offensive line. And then on the flip side, someone can look at that and say, hey, he's waiting to see guys open versus throwing guys open. He has some unbelievable plays all year in the biggest moments where he's throwing guys open and he's really anticipating guys coming out these breaks. So I think it's just a product of his unbelievable playmaking ability and trust in his receivers of him holding that ball a little bit longer than expected versus I'm holding the ball and not knowing what to do with it.
Cardale Jones is joining us, of course, won a national title as the quarterback of the Ohio State Buckeyes. Now a CBS Sports college football analyst, going to be on site for the Big Ten Championship game, 8 p.m. on Saturday, CBS and Paramount+. All right, been a couple days. Dust is settled now a bit on the massive upset. Michigan goes into the horseshoe and beats your Buckeyes. Cardale, what went wrong for Ohio State?
I think a few things. I don't think you can point to one specific play. You can never, in rivalry games, period, or really games, period, you can't point to one specific play and say, oh, they would have, hit this field goal or, got this sack, the game would have went differently. I think just Michigan, you got to give credit where credit is due. Michigan did a great job of executing their game plan and standing within who they are. If Michigan would have had a chance, after the national championship game and say, hey, we're losing all these guys, we're losing our coaches, we're going to be dealing with so much up and down at the quarterback position. But on November 30th, we're going to go into the shoe. And in the fourth quarter, it's going to be a one-score game. They would have signed up for that any day of the week because that's who they want to be ultimately, knowing they like the playmakers on the outside, knowing they like the playmaker at the quarterback position, but they can still control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. If every game you look at Michigan this year, the year ones they won and the ones they lost, the common denominator was a one-score game going into the fourth quarter, and they want to just squeeze you like a python and continue to get that 3, 4, 5 yards of pop and to control the line of scrimmage and control the time of possession to ultimately give you one, at best, 2 possessions in the fourth quarter. And now, at that point, you feel like you're pressing. You feel like you're trying to play catch-up in one-score game, and that's when you usually make those mistakes, which Ohio State did.
What do you think of the job that head coach Ryan Day did on Saturday?
I don't think, and I'm pretty sure he can agree with this, it wasn't his best showing as a head coach or a play caller, just because, and I don't know if that's due to the big hit Will Howard took earlier in the game, maybe limited some of the play calling and the strategies and things they wanted to do, taking some shots downfield and worried about his health maybe, to not responding well to one of the situations in the fourth quarter when they had 12 guys on the field coming off of timeout. Those are things that I can promise you, him as a coach and him in leading that coaching staff, they're going to touch up on. They're going to try to make sure those little things don't happen again, as far as that legal substitution or legal procedure, especially coming off the sideline. And then, probably not just him. I think every coach around the country who dealt with this past Saturday of having that brawl in the middle of the field when it came to, teams planting flags and things like that. I think, he's going to look at that and try to find, a better way to handle that and anticipate that. The number one way you handle that is not losing at home. I think that goes for every school who lost at home this week. But, having a plan to make sure guys isn't getting pepper sprayed and it's looking like a complete, chaos out there. I think those are two of the things that, he can take from this loss and really incorporate and make sure they don't happen again.
Cardale Jones won a national title at Ohio State under Urban Meyer. Ryan Day now definitely coming under fire from the fan base. Cardale, is he coaching for his job in the college football playoff?
That's a great question. I think he's more so coaching to get that bad taste out of his mouth and showing that, he's still the man for the job and leading his team in the right direction. As a college football athlete, number one goal is to win a national title. And I know we don't always say it publicly, but that's the goal, especially going to a place like Ohio State, Georgia, Texas, on these major universities around the country. Usually in the times before the 12-team system and the playoff system, that usually means if you don't beat your rivals, if you don't compete for a conference championship, you can kiss those dreams goodbye. Now in this new era, don't get me wrong, I want to beat Michigan every time I step on that field. I want to win a Big Ten championship game every year, but you still have the ultimate goal in your sights, in which they do. Now, if you give me an opportunity as a college football player and say I can only pick one, if that's beating my rival or winning a national title, I don't care if I'm at Texas or Texas versus OU, Alabama versus Auburn, Georgia, Tennessee, whatever the case may be. 99.99% of the athletes are going to say winning a national title over beating your rivals. But it used to go hand in hand, not so much in this new dynamic of college football. Hopefully, the Buckeyes finish strong and we forget about this. And I know as Buckeye Nation, we don't usually forget much when it comes to that Team Up North game. But he got a chance to kind of right the wrongs in a lot of fans' eyes by going out here and finishing strong in the playoffs.
All right. Quick question about Ohio State weapons. You had a ridiculous receiving core. You had Ezekiel Elliott. You had Michael Thomas, Devin Smith. Who's got more talent? Your 2014 offense or take out the quarterback, the guys that they have right now, Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, Emeka Egbuka. If you were a quarterback, who would you want to throw to?
You know what? I got to go with my guys because I wanted with these guys. And, these guys, you can say these guys, wasn't going to be first-round draft picks, things like that, but we won the whole thing, so I got to go with these guys if I'm at quarterback. But I think when you look on paper, you can't go wrong with these guys in this 2024 team. I mean, they potentially have 4 or 5 first-rounders, and they're doing it at an extremely high level.
Cardale Jones is joining us. Your phone's ringing. Could be Urban Meyer, your former coach. You won a national championship. You're going to be on site. CBS Sports HQ's on-site coverage for the Big Ten championship game will air 8 p.m. on Saturday on CBS and Paramount Plus. We're excited about Oregon and Penn State. It's going to be awesome. Last one for you, Cardale. Could you ever see your former coach Urban Meyer coming back to the Buckeyes?
Not a chance. I don't think so. I don't think with this new dynamic of the portal and NIL, he wants any part of that. Urban is a player's coach. He's a coach's coach, and he just want to coach ball. And I think all of those aspects throws a wrench into his culture that he want to build and the things that he want to do as a play caller and as just a CEO of an organization.
Okay, give us a pick. Oregon, Penn State, where do you lean in the Big Ten championship game?
Oh, wow. Great matchup. And I think I'm going to have to go with Oregon just because they've been the most consistent team all year. And, I mean, they're the number one team for the reason. But I think it's going to be this game will be a lot closer than people think. But I got Oregon.
Oregon right now a 3.5-point favorite in this game. Cardale Jones, thank you. As I said, one of the great stories in college football of being a third string, coming in, winning a national title for the Ohio State Buckeyes, getting drafted. It was really awesome to watch you, Cardale, and we're excited to watch you on site, CBS Sports HQ.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you. Watch on Saturday. Okay, we got a lot to unpack there. We're still diagnosing everything that went wrong for the Buckeyes in that game against Michigan. Okay, lots to do. M&P, don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Corbuccio wipes the bottom of his sneakers. Yes!
4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Corbuccio wipes the bottom of his sneakers. He's guarded by Lawson. Play in action. Corbuccio gets the screen from Ratliff. Corbuccio driving. Finds Ratliff. Free throw line. Jay. Yes! Clock continues to run. Panthers have one final chance. Here's Kennedy. Kennedy with 5. Step back. Jay. Yes!
3 minutes remaining.
Oh, Josiah Kennedy! Ice cold! Timeout stepping out!
Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining.
Ice cold! Timeout stepping out!
– 45 seconds remaining. –30 seconds remaining. –15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Here's Kennedy. Kennedy with 5. Step back, Jay. Yes! Oh, Josiah Kennedy! Ice cold!
This portion of the show is brought to you by Wesley Financial. Stuck in a timeshare and want out? Contact Wesley Financial Group now and get a free timeshare exit information kit at wesleyfinancialgroup.com. That was great having Cardale Jones. You know what? He was quite measured, Maggie. He wasn't in a full panic mode about Ohio State losing to Michigan. It seemed very analytical. I was very impressed.
Well, I think it's because this 12-team college football playoff gives you a little bit of a chance to save your season.
But it didn't feel that way on Saturday. It felt like Ohio State fans felt wrecked by what happened against Michigan.
Let's be honest. I think Ryan Day's kind of been on thin ice just because he hasn't been able to beat Michigan for the last 3 years. So I think they were ready to pounce. If everyone loved Ryan Day and he was just this beloved guy at Ohio State, maybe it would be a little more like everyone would be like Cardale Jones, be a little more measured. But I think they're looking for a reason to get rid of this guy.
Well, it's not just any normal loss. This was the worst Michigan team you're ever going to see. They have no quarterback.
Biggest point spread, right?
Yeah, Will Johnson, their cornerback, was out. Their star tight end was out. Like this was, and Ohio State, they've never, if there ever been a defense like this, they've never had stars on defense except for the Bosas. This is by far their best chance defensively, and they have all the talent on offense. They just don't necessarily have the quarterback. So this was the year to win. Like this was, nobody saw this coming.
No.
Like everyone's like, well, at least Ryan Day will get a win over Michigan this year. And there's no Jim Harbaugh.
It's stunning. But again, if Ohio State somehow gets to the Final Four, gets to the national championship game, I mean, if they win it, obviously he's going to be fine. But say you get to the title game and you lose by a field goal, you're not getting rid of Ryan Day.
You lose in the Final Four, I think he's out.
That's
I think
kind of crazy.
Getting the title game will do it, but I think I just don't think there's a future. Also, too, he hasn't won in the playoffs either. He seems to have a ceiling.
855-212-4227. Yeah, Cardale Jones he did say he was kind of coaching for his job for sure, but says there's a big opportunity in front of them. And Cardale does not think that he should be fired over this loss. Other big topic for today outside of Ohio State and Michigan is this idea about that baseball is actually tinkering with called the golden at bat, which could basically be something that blows up the sport. It would be a one-time substitution, not like a pinch hit, wouldn't be someone off the bench, but anyone who's in your lineup would be able to get subbed in for an at-bat at one point during the game.
Right. Say you're hitting third in the lineup and the 7 spot comes up, the manager could call on you and bring you in.
Exactly. So you're kind of hoping for more bases loaded or game-winning situations where star players are getting the final say.
Great strategy question for a manager. When do I use my golden bat?
Adrian is in Maryland. Adrian, what do you think about the idea of a golden at-bat?
I told EJ this is probably one of the dumbest ideas that the commissioner could come up with.
Adrian, there's no debate about how dumb it is. The question is, do you like it or not?
Will make you want to watch more?
No, because they're trying to fabricate a storyline of baseball. You figure on a one-night basis, there's 15 games going on, 14, 13 games of baseball going on. Do you actually think somebody's going to tune in from watching their team to go to another game just because a golden bat came on? No, it sounds like, how about we go to the NBA, we get a bad free throw shooter, and we let Steph Curry shoot for the bad free throw shooter.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. That's what they're trying to get at, and it's just dumb. You can't just let the game play. They're lucky they even got the Dodgers and the Yankees this year. If the Yankees didn't play in such a bad AL, they probably wouldn't have got to the World Series. So they got their Dodgers-Yankees World Series. Now they're trying to generate some more things for people to watch. No, this is crazy.
Adrian, you bring up a really good point here. Not just the fact this idea feels a little insane, and thank you for making the call as always. But here's the other part. Yes, how are we all going to know as like a sports watching society that all of a sudden in a Mariners-Angels game, they're going to the golden at bat? Like, do we all get an alert on our phone? We're just going to find out after the fact. So is it really going to goose viewership in the moment because it's so random? It could happen in the second inning. It could happen in the ninth inning.
Wait, what game did you say?
I said Mariners-Angels. I was just making one up.
So let's be honest. There's 0 people who are not in Seattle or Anaheim are going to watch that game anyway.
Well, exactly. But wouldn't this be a reason for all of us to tune in if you get this cool? Isn't this the theory?
I'm not there. They're not saying it's a complete sea change where every game is must-watch TV because of the golden bat rule. I think that's putting a little too much onto this one rule.
Okay.
I think they're just saying it adds an extra spice.
But I think they're thinking, hey, if there's a crazy golden at bat that wins a game for the Mariners, are you more likely to tune in to the series finale of Mariners Angels because you saw this cool highlight?
I think they're saying watching a Sunday night game is all of a sudden much more interesting because you're waiting to see how it unfolds and is there going to be a golden at bat.
Hey, we've got a marriage that could be in the making. Seems a little dicey. Get that next.
Biglotti's got something to say. Infinity's mice. He's feeling the dismay. No NBA on NBC. What a shame.
Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining.
Born in the summer of '94, Zach Hill came to play. Here's a brand new rule in the MLB. The golden at bat sounds fancy to me, but don't get excited, it's not what you think. Kinda like a shower, but one you don't want to drink.
Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Step back, Jay!
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
1st and 10 is on 42. The shotgun snap, the short drop, the quick throw far side. It's intercepted! Denver's intercepted in McMillan 40. Sideline 30. Down the sideline 20. 10. 5. Touchdown! It's a pick six! It's a Bronco pick six!
Kevin Harlan on Westwood One. That's familiar feeling of Jameis Winston throwing a pick six at the end of the game. Welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff.
You called it, Maggie.
I was waiting for someone else to say it. I didn't want to pat myself on the back too much about this one, but I did nail it.
It's so funny because I said, you know what? I like the Broncos to win the game, but the Browns to cover. You're like, I feel the same way. I feel like it's going to go down that way, but there's going to be a last-second pick six that will affect the spread. You nailed it, although you did predict both pick sixes. So
no, I should get double
credit. You didn't say pick
that.
Sixes. You said a pick six.
If I had thought about it a little longer, I would have come up with multiple pick sixes because that is the Jameis Winston experience. Obviously, backup quarterback for the Browns now. Browns are, just careening towards irrelevance again. 3-9.
They're oddly relevant 3-9 team. Like they're
But are they?
Well, they're on TV every night apparently. Like they're all over primetime. There's 2 primetime games in a row, and they're super entertaining.
They are entertaining, but this night belonged really to the Broncos.
No, it didn't. It totally belonged to Jameis Winston.
Okay, it was back and forth game, but a 41-32 final. And the most interesting person on the field, while Jameis tries very hard with the pregame speeches and all of that stuff, the most interesting person on the field was Bo Nix because his combination with Sean Payton and what could be for a Broncos team that's been irrelevant. It's been dead in the water. And finally, we get a little something. The Broncos tried hard with Russell Wilson. They pried him away from Seattle. They paid a king's ransom to get him both draft picks and money. And it was a spectacular failure. Now you get a second chance at life and at relevancy. And this is a cool story for the Broncos. Period. End of story. For the Browns, this is not a cool story. This is a story where I don't have any idea what the ending is, but I know it's not going to be satisfying.
Okay. Yeah, that
like a bad movie.
Yeah. Okay, like a movie. Got it. Not anything else.
I mean, there's a couple
we've
jokes
been
there.
doing the golden at bat rule all day long, and I don't know. Manny's mind took us somewhere. So there's no way. Okay, I understand. You were accurate about the pick six. You're wrong. There's no way Bo Nix was more interesting than Jameis Winston last night. The dude threw for 500 yards and 2 pick sixes. It was one of the most interesting performances I've seen in. It was definitely the most interesting game of the year for one player. But regardless, so Bo Nix is interesting in the big picture. He is really exciting because he feels like a good marriage with Sean Payton, but a little extra kick. Remember how Kyle Shanahan wanted to draft Trey Lance? He's like, imagine if I had a quarterback that could do all my things and then run the ball. That's what you got with Bo Nix because he can make a big play with his feet. The pressure got to him last. I don't think last night was his best game, really. I do think, he threw a couple picks. One of them was not really his fault. And the pressure got to him and he started making bad throws. Makes perfect sense.
Well, Myles Garrett's going to do that to people.
Makes perfect sense. Yeah. Exactly. He really needs to be kind of perfect to catch Jalen Daniels for the Rookie of the Year. Again, somewhat irrelevant. All that matters is they have a bright future.
I think so. And I think the window is open, not this year. This year is like you're still trying to find and figure out exactly who Bo Nix is and how much can he handle. They mentioned on the broadcast, not a lot of pre-snap stuff. They're trying to make it simple, and that's fine. But it does make you start to think and dream a little bit if you're the Broncos. Like, man, maybe we could take advantage of this 5-year. It's never really 5 years if the guy's good enough. But, a couple years with a cheap quarterback, and maybe you get some offsetting money with Russell Wilson, and maybe you can add a couple pieces, and you start thinking, all right, maybe the Chiefs start to dip down. Maybe we are here at the right time. All that stuff is going through your mind as a Bronco fan.
You definitely saw some flaws on defense last night.
But throughout the year, they've been a good defense. Now,
not against good teams.
What quarterbacks are they facing? I get that.
I mean, they shut down the Chiefs, but the Chiefs are in some bizarre offensive tailspin right now. You have some pieces. I mean, Nick Bonito looks like a star, a big star, and Surtain is in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation.
Yeah, they gave him a big contract.
So you have a lot to build around. I don't think it's even fair to talk about Super Bowl with him right now. Like, give him 3 or 4 years. I know he turned around the Saints almost immediately, but you're right. I like that time frame of a 5-year window for Bo Nix. It's pretty good. I mean, he's going to be 30 in 5 years.
I forgot.
He really, literally will be.
Yeah, he's a 24-year-old rookie.
Do you agree, by the way, and I know we have a lot to get to, when Troy Aikman said he went 12th, I think if there was a redraft, he'd go much higher.
I don't necessarily know if that's true because
I do. Yes.
Well, we haven't seen J.J. McCarthy.
I mean,
and he
the
had
Giants,
a setback with his injury, and we have not seen Michael Penix.
If the Giants could create a time machine,
they
they'd be
should have
all
gone
over
back
him.
to Bo Nix. Manny is nodding with a single tear rolling down his cheek as a Giants fan. For sure.
Yeah, the Titans for sure too.
But this is also a great situation for him. His offensive line is not terrible, and his head coach might be one of the best in the league right now.
I think he could. I think he's pretty good too. I think he would have been fine with Brian Dable. I think he would have been fine with Brian Callahan. Would have been. I don't think this is all Peyton's magical. Like I don't know. They're not running things that are so complicated.
No, it's not that. But
yeah.
I mean, when's the last time the Giants developed a quarterback outside of Eli Manning?
I had Brian Dable turn Daniel Jones into a passable guy for a little bit.
And then what happened?
Yeah, but I mean, Bo Nix
still had him this year, and they couldn't win games.
Way better than Daniel Jones.
That's fine. I think it's
Bo Nix threw 45 touchdowns and 3 picks one year. Daniel Jones was a middling college quarterback.
I think that we looked at Caleb Williams and said, wow, when does the number 1 overall pick walk into a situation that feels like it's this good? Like there's pieces around, and obviously the Bears season went off the rails. They had to fire their coach, but maybe we underestimated what type of situation Bo Nix was walking into. Because you do have Cortland Sutton, you do have a run game, you don't have a terrible offensive line, you have a good defense normally. Last night they let up a lot of points, and you have Sean Payton. So not all bad. Okay, you're welcome to weigh in on that at 855-212-4227. We also have some breaking news for you on this morning, and that is the NFL has ruled on Azeez Al-Shaair and that dirty hit on Trevor Lawrence. So Al-Shaair is going to be suspended 3 games for the hit on Trevor Lawrence. Part of what NFL VP of Football Operations John Runyon had to say was, you led with your forearm and helmet and delivered a forceful blow to the head neck area of your opponent when you had time and space to avoid such contact. After the illegal hit, you proceeded to engage in a brawl, which you escalated when you pulled an opponent down to the ground by his face mask. After the referee announced that you were disqualified for the hit, and your unsportsmanlike acts, you removed your helmet, re-engaged with your opponent while walking down and across the field, which started another physical confrontation near the end zone. Your lack of sportsmanship and respect for the game of football and all those who play, coach, and enjoy watching it is troubling and does not reflect the core values of the NFL. Your continued disregard for NFL playing rules puts the health and safety of both you and your opponents in jeopardy and will not be tolerated.
Wow. Damn. Yeah, didn't mix any words there.
Yeah, I don't normally read a lot on the show, but I felt like that had to be read because they're not messing around. And this goes back to when Al-Shaair was, throwing punches after the Bears game on the sideline, and so he's like a repeat offender.
It could have been a lot worse because the media talk was 6 games that Myles Garrett got for using his helmet as a weapon. This looked like a lot of people thought this was it for the year for him. So 3 games, at least he'll be back by week 18, be back for the playoffs. And it doesn't matter. The Texans pretty much can't lose that division.
So this is tough, though. Yeah. So listen, it was a dirty hit. I know there have been some people on TV that have been defending it, like Rex Ryan, who was on TV saying that basically blaming Trevor Lawrence, saying you can't slide there. You can slide in the open field more, but not when he slid late. And he was saying that Trevor Lawrence actually should have dove towards Alshair's ankles and feet as opposed to sliding. So there have been some defensive coaches and D'Amico Ryans who definitely came to the backing, his own head coach who came to his backing. We'll play that for you in just a moment. But the 3-game suspension is notable. Texans are on their bye. But the Texans are one of the 4 teams in the NFL that are playing the Sunday, Saturday, Wednesday do-si-do. So that's Sunday, December 15th, they play Miami. Then Saturday, December 21st, so short week, they're at Kansas City. Then extremely short week to play Wednesday against the Baltimore Ravens. You're talking about 3 good to great to amazing quarterbacks there. Tua's good, Mahomes is great, and Lamar Jackson is amazing this year. So that's tough to be losing one of your big defensive players when you're about to hit a stretch with those 3 QBs.
Yeah, but they have no movement really. They're going to be, it's the 4 seed, right? They're going to be the lowest division winner, and they're 8-5. The Colts are 6-7. They've beaten the Colts twice. If any team can mess around, like the Texans pretty much can't lose this division because the Colts are not going to win out. In fact, I don't even think the Colts are going to beat the Broncos this week. So they're almost, I know what you're saying. You're perfectly right. Like they're not going to win these games, but I don't think that it's really going to affect them long term. I mean, what difference does it make? They're going to be the 4 seed, one way or the other.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you're trying to go into this very challenging schedule, part of the schedule. You don't want to drop all 3 games, that's for sure. And don't you want to be playing your best football at the end of the year, taking away one of your best but yet dirtiest players off the field? You can't tell me it's a good thing.
I mean, the odds are you're going to get, it's not a good thing, but you're going to get Kansas City in week 16 and Baltimore in week 17. You're probably going to see one of those teams if you win a playoff game. Yeah, actually, you might see Baltimore in the first round. So it is a little bit like I think they kind of did a favor here by not knocking him out for the year. You're totally right about those short games, but it's kind of irrelevant to where the Texans are going. The Texans have bigger problems. They do not look great as a team. I think we can all agree on that.
And I don't think this helps you get galvanized here towards the end of the season. Maybe it does, but again,
they need Will Anderson to get back and be healthy, and then have the double whammy of having Hunter on one side and that has not existed. He did come back and played, but I don't think he recorded a sack, or I don't even know if he recorded a tackle. So they really need to get healthy, and they need their offensive line to work. Maybe it's a wake-up call. Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe they galvanized by this.
So again, that's Azeez Al-Shaair who put the hit on Trevor Lawrence. He's suspended 3 games for that hit and a very strongly worded reprimand. He also got fined a couple, $17,000 or something. But strongly worded. Do you think they went too far, EJ?
They could have went further.
I think a lot of people thought they were going to go further. I think this is a compromise.
Yeah, and I feel like, again, I know it's playing the result, but we got to see what happened and what that means for another team, and that has to come into the penalty because we know the Jaguar season is potentially over, but again, their franchise could have been altered with this hit. Just like Mo Lewis altered the Patriots franchise forever. That was in a good way. Right. This could be the opposite. This could be...
Well, Drew Bledsoe almost died, but yeah.
Right, exactly. No, of course. And obviously his health was important. But I'm saying they altered... These hits are huge, and they could change a guy's career, change the whole trajectory of a franchise, and I think it could have been more.
So have you heard the thing... Sorry to interrupt you, but have you heard the thing about Scott Pioli, the former GM of the Chiefs, and he was the Patriots for forever, has a thought that the person who commits the bad penalty should be out as long as the person who is the victim of the penalty.
Yeah, it's like hockey, right? Like that's basically a hockey thing. Like I'm for that. To me, if it's an illegal play, obviously there are a lot of plays that are physical and it happens, and you're gonna have bang bang plays. But when we have an illegal play like this, I definitely think that you could definitely make that case. And I think the NFL has to go further with these coaches because they got D'Amico Ryan standing up there at the podium saying it's Trevor's fault and Azeez didn't start the fight. It was the other guys and the Jaguars players overreacted. All right, then next time this guy gets in trouble, D'Amico Ryan should be suspended. Because at the end of the day, if you're saying that you don't coach this, but then the next day you're going to say, well, he did nothing wrong, Trevor should have slid too early, the Jaguars are the players who escalated this, not my player, then you should take full responsibility for everything that happens on the field. And if you're going to stand by your guy, you're going to stand 10 tones down and stand on business and say that was Trevor Lawrence's fault, then you need to sit down too. Because now you're putting guys at risk, and now you're putting people's lives in danger by saying that was okay.
Well, I'll tell you what it does is it totally blows up and throws complete cold water on the idea of like, hey, this is a brotherhood and we really don't want to hurt each other.
Yeah.
It's like, and he's like, we don't coach that here and that's not how we teach things. Like, well, maybe you do, because let's hear from a little from D'Amico Ryans, who was defending Al-Shaair. Let's hear cut 8 first, please, man.
Unfortunate hit on the quarterback, but it's also, it's twofold, right? I mean, a lot of the quarterbacks in this day and age, they try to take advantage of the rule where they slide late and they try to get an extra yard. And you're a defender, a lot of onus is on the defender, right? Whether it's on the sideline or where it's on the quarterback, you don't know what a guy is thinking. You don't know if a guy's standing up and he's continuing to run. You don't know. And then you get a late slide and you hit the guy.
More from D'Amico saying Lawrence should have slid sooner.
Unfortunate that Trevor got hurt. We hope Trevor is okay, but it's also, if we're sliding, we have to get down. If we're getting out of bounds, we get out of bounds, and that rule is there to protect the quarterbacks, and we want our quarterbacks to be safe in the league, so we just have to be safe. If we're sliding, make sure we're keeping our heads down.
I felt like his head was down. I thought that to me, Trevor Lawrence was executing a slide in a very normal, like the guy's 6'6", it's like there's a lot of body there before you get to the head. And I'm just saying, I know it's hard sometimes on those defensive players. I feel for them with their body weight not falling on guys and some of these BS roughing the passer calls and stuff like that. But this one, I mean, it felt like it could have been avoided.
Yeah, by the way, EJ, I totally disagree with you on D'Amico Ryans, because after the game, he was pretty critical of Al-Shaair.
Do you hear him critical right there?
No, the next day he came back and defended his team. But after the game, he said all the right things. He was like, listen, he's got to be smarter. We know that's not how we coach this game.
But why did he change his tune then?
Why did he say something different? He literally was like,
because he's supporting his team. I mean, that's what he's supposed to do. He's got a locker room.
You can support your team by sitting down with Al-Shaair when you say that was fine what happened on the field.
Get out of here. You suspend it? You said suspend D'Amico Ryans. That's insane.
He's saying that it was Trevor Lawrence's fault for this situation, which means that Al-Shaair will be in a situation where he knows his coach has his back next time he wants to take somebody out.
But his coach didn't have his back right after the game.
Well,
he was pretty critical of him on Sunday. Like, that's something.
Here's the question, I think, and this is where I think that D'Amico Ryans would ultimately look like a hypocrite. If this was C.J. Stroud.
Right.
If it was, Josh Hines Allen or whatever, and it's on C.J. Stroud, I know Hines Allen is a defensive lineman, but you know what I'm saying, then would he say, listen, CJ's got to learn to slide earlier? I doubt it. So it makes it, he's defending his guy, but blindly. 855-212.
But you say it's totally irrelevant that he said all the right things after the game? That doesn't mean anything?
To me,
so if he did a podcast 3 years from now and said, oh, I think Trevor Lawrence had a bad side, then you suspend him? Like, he did his job as a coach. And he came right after the game, gave the NFL party line, done.
But then what about yesterday?
I know he gave a bad. Well, what if he gave an interview 3 weeks from now where he said that? It doesn't matter. There's no way Ryans could face discipline for this.
Well, there's also something different of in the moment and when you're still, and I would say 48 hours later, you're still in the moment as opposed to reflecting 3 weeks or 3 years later.
But you're picking and choosing. But he did say a lot. He basically put out there this was a bad hit. He said he said very strongly, I don't condone this. So that statement does not disappear just because he said this.
It kind of does, because if he's saying, I don't condone this, but then the next day is saying it's Trevor's fault, he slid too late.
He said it's also partly, but he said, okay. I mean, you really think the fact that he said, I don't condone this and he's got to be smarter, all of a sudden that just disappears?
Well, he didn't hold it. He didn't hold to it.
But what if he says...
If he had maintained that and been and if he had not said it's Trevor's fault, it's weird to blame the victim on this one.
Well, I mean, he's explaining the situation. We all saw the football play. Obviously, there's no lie there. When the quarterback slides, it's very difficult for the defender to figure it out.
Do you think the Jags overreacted?
No.
Okay.
And
that's what he also said, that they overreacted by causing a brawl. He's beyond belief right now.
Oh, come on. You guys are going after D'Amico Ryans here?
Yes.
All right.
I mean, this guy just got suspended for 3 games, and it's not
By
the
the way,
first
he
time.
also defended Alshire when he's punching guys on the sideline in Chicago. And then he also defended him during that, I don't know if he defended the penalty against the Lions. That cost him a game. But this is not the first time also with this guy.
Also, this wouldn't be, it's not just D'Amico. If there was any coach that was doing this, I think we'd call BS on it.
He came out after the game and said all the right things. That's all. Yes, he said this. He said more thoughtful. So, I mean, what if he comes back tomorrow and says, that was a really dumb play by Alshire? Then we're fine. Then it's just the last thing he said. That's all that matters. Then what if he comes back the next day? I'm just saying, you guys, he was just commenting honestly. He said a lot of things. It's curious that coaches and players don't like these press conferences.
No, but he can also be consistent. It's not the press trying to get you a gotcha moment here. I mean,
kind of feels like it.
What? Ask him a question. He's the one who changed his answer.
EJ said suspend him for something he said in a press conference.
But we're talking about, and that's fine if EJ wants to have it. But we're talking about, are you holding a coach accountable for their players' actions? And at first, it seemed like the coach
he did. He said very much
was going to hold him accountable.
He said we don't coach that way.
And then what did he say yesterday? It's Trevor's fault.
He was explaining the situation, and actually everything he said, I don't think people disagree with anything he said. Was there any, what did he lie about? Of course Trevor slid a little.
He lied about saying that this guy didn't escalate that fight. He did.
That part, yeah. But that was not the real issue is the slide. And I think a lot of us thought that, a little bit of a late slide, but he shouldn't have led with his elbow like that. Regardless, the funny thing is he's got much bigger problems. He's got to get Bobby Slowick to start calling pass plays on first down. I don't care what he does. Seriously, let CJ cook there in Houston. I'm so sick of their offense.
Well, as long as CJ doesn't slide, I think we're all going to be okay. 855-212-4227. So get a little breaking news on this Tuesday morning, which is Azeez Al-Shaair has been suspended for 3 games. They're on their bye. Then it's Miami, Kansas City, and the Ravens. All right. This is when it's getting good, guys. Not just football, but basketball as well. Soccer in the mix, if that's your kind of thing. Prize Picks, got to be on your to-do list. What do? Download the app and start playing daily fantasy. What do? Pick 2 or more players across any sport, then just pick more or less on their projection. You could win up to 100 times your money. I see Victor Wembanyama tonight, Pearl.
24.5 points. That's a pretty good start right there. How about a little Wembanyama, Karl Anthony Towns, 11.5 rebounds combo? Go with the big man on a Tuesday night. Nothing's more fun than Prize Picks. You even have Flex Play, so if you can cash out if one of your picks doesn't hit, all you do is download the Prize Picks app and use the code MNP to get a $50 credit instantly when you play just $5. That's code MNP on Prize Picks to get a $50 credit instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Mand P.
You're in a 4-minute break. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining.
Oh, Josiah Kennedy!
30 seconds remaining.
Nice goal!
15 seconds.
Timeout, Stepanek!
Break ends in
Timeout,
5 seconds.
Stepanek!
Back on Maggie and Perloff. So, Maggie, I'm walking the hall during break, get some water, and I hear Andrew Bogus's name on our local sister station, WFAN. The guys are talking about Andrew Bogus. Gio and Willie Colon is sitting in for Boomer on WFAN, and it didn't sound like they were saying nice things, and I got really defensive.
Is there somebody we have to go punch?
I don't know.
Start
I mean,
a brouhaha?
Bogus, can you explain what happened?
So this Saturday, a bunch of us from here are going to the Islander game. The Islanders love WFAN. Their owner, Mr. Ledecky, is a big WFAN listener, I guess. So every once in a while, they invite a bunch of people from here to sit in his suite for an Islander game.
Wow, it's Katie Ledecky's uncle, by the way, the Olympic swimmer.
So I think this is the third or fourth group outing, and I made the cut this time.
Look at you.
Which I was flattered by.
Well, especially because you're a Ranger fan.
Well, that's a whole other thing, but just to be nominated was an honor. Until I heard the same thing.
Best supporting actor in a group outing.
And this is what I heard alongside Perloff this morning. I only heard a couple of buzzwords live. Then I went back and heard the whole thing. And this apparently, while I was flattered to make the cut, apparently it was a struggle to get me involved on Saturday.
Yeah, we were scraping the bottom of the barrel for some guys at the end.
What does that mean?
Well, I mean,
You got to fill the box?
Yeah. But yeah. I mean, I had to even dip into Infinity Sports Radio.
Really?
Guys out of there.
All right, so give me a bottom of the barrel guy.
Bogus.
No, you love Bogus. I don't believe
I
that.
had to scrape Bogus right off the bottom of the
You
barrel.
like him. That's not true.
I like him, but I mean, he was nowhere on the radar, you know?
So now I can't go, right? I have to back out?
Don't cut off your nose to spite your face. I would go, you're going to be in the owner's box. That's cool. Cool story. And I might cold shoulder some people.
I could get you any hockey access you want tomorrow. In fact, I've invited you to multiple Rangers games.
One Ranger game.
Dude, I'm turning down Rangers tickets left and right from multiple sources.
But are you sitting in the Owners box?
No, but like...
Because that's free food, free drinks, free everything, right?
Yeah. There's also apparently previous versions of this. There's also been a shopping spree in the team store.
That's good.
This is a big outing. They're super nice to us.
We can get you...
Not Geo nice to me.
Okay. We can get you the Rangers / free sushi. EJ, you've had the sushi platter.
I did.
You get the Madison Square Garden golden and bat treatment.
Golden treatment from James Dolan.
Golden at bat from
Wait, hold on. All right, I'm going to amend what I said. I would not cold shoulder anybody. I'd show up and just have some big, gigantic smile just plastered on my face.
I would not go in a million years.
Because they said that?
No, because it's the Islanders game.
Perloff, what a snob.
Well, the other problem is I'm a Ranger fan, which means I strongly dislike the Islanders.
Yeah,
so
what are you going to buy in the team store? A nice John Tavares jersey?
Anybody want something? I'm taking orders. Give me sizes.
NHL gear
bogus right off the bottom of the barrel.
Scrape them off. The
NHL gear is pretty good. I'll take an Islanders hat. That'd be great.
Mr. Bandwagon himself. No wonder.
At some point,
do we even
you'll be an
have to
Islander fan.
ask? Of course.
Only 10 seconds ago that he said he wouldn't be caught dead at an Islanders game. Now he's like, I'll take some gear.
Going to be giving us Matt Barzal stats in a few weeks.
Yeah.
He'll discover him. This guy, Matt Barzal.
Pretty good.
We've lost Perloff now. He's out.
Isn't even convinced that Matt
I don't even know what
Barzal
you're
is a
talking
real
about.
hockey player.
Is his name Connor?
He fainted with his eyes open.
Yeah. I'm surprised you wouldn't want to go rub elbows with one of the owners.
He'd be lucky to rub owners with me. It was the Islanders. What are you guys talking about? I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
Wow. The guy almost bought the Nationals. Does that impress you? Or
I don't think we'll be seeing Perloff on Long Island anytime soon.
No,
that guy's going to put cement shoes on you and throw you into the ocean.
I'm actually always by that arena. Remember when I came to see your Little League baseball game? I'm always killing time as my daughter does swim meets in the shadow of where the Islanders play.
Nice try. This is not 1984. That's Nassau Coliseum that you're next to. The Islanders play at UBS Arena, which is not by where your daughter used to swim.
Then what happens at Nassau Coliseum?
The Long Island Nets.
I can get a seat there.
Indoor lacrosse, some Bizarro Circus, and Disney on Ice.
I also have a friend who works for UBS Arena who's always, and this is fact, Maggie, you remember this, who's always asking us to go to Islanders games.
I'm never getting invited to Islanders games.
I did. When we first started, I said, all right, the UBS wants to have us out of the show. Spike, who our former boss, and you, Maggie, and you both held your nose up so high and said, there's no way I'm going out to UBS.
Oh, I don't think I held my nose up at it. That's you, not me. Well, you didn't hold up your nose, but you say no to a lot of things. Do I?
Yes, like going to, yes.
I can't go to the Garden. What are you talking about? I'm banned from the building. That's not
right.
Turning it down.
I just put two and two together.
I can't go to Madison Square Garden. I cannot go to Radio City Music Hall. I can't go to the Beacon Theater. I can't go to the Sphere. I can't go to Tao.
Yes.
This is what happens when you call out the owner.
Tao is owned by him?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And Tao has the no-fly list too?
I don't want to test it because
I
I'll be
do. Can we go
so
later?
embarrassed if I get turned away
You've
from
been
it.
there. Cheese.
No, I know, but I just want to walk in either and make it in or have them go, I'm sorry, Miss Gray.
Yeah, you'll get dragged out of there? No.
I feel like Tao's got to be in the bottom barrel of what they're looking for.
I don't know, but all I know
They're
is
not
that
scanning faces at Tao.
If you see the Knicks gave
where they
up
should be
6 first-round
faces.
picks for Mikal Bridges. They do not have a competent face scanning program. There is no way they would recognize Maggie. Like, they don't do anything right. They're going to see Maggie and be like, we got it. I don't believe that technology even exists. I think it's all fake.
James Dolan go on every single radio station, including WFAN, to say that they have facial recognition software.
I just feel like
they have it.
I just feel like at Tao, they're scanning for rap entourages and,
contraband,
drunk bachelorette parties. I don't think they're looking for you, Maggie.
Probably not. Back in my day,
but that was definitely rude of those guys. I would almost say no.
It's taking some shine off the invitation.
I think you got to do what I did in high school, which is when you don't got belief in you, like your head coach, you go out there and just start chucking. You got to be the life of the party. You got to be telling all the jokes.
Yep.
You got to be talking to everybody. You got to show that you're actually the guy that they want at these kind of places. You got to go the total opposite. Don't go in the corner.
I had to scrape bogus right off the bottom of the barrel.
Now right up to the top.
In the director's cut, they also mentioned that there were other people that they said no to it. They were suggested as invites. So if 10 people are going, I might not even have been number 10. I might have been number like 17 on the list. And other guys got knocked out, turned down, denied before I got in. I already knew I was on the B list. I might have been on the D list.
Yeah, but you're in now, so what does it matter?
But now like a pity invite.
Honestly, you got to be the life of the party. EJ's right. You got to get blackout
Have
drunk,
you guys
and you
met
got to
me?
be the story.
Well, first of all, we all know that if I get drunk, I sleep. So that's not a thing.
It'd be amazing.
They'd
You'd be
dragging
leading
them
their
out of-
show on
they'd be
Monday.
dragging them out of UBS, being like, "Who's this guy?"
Just me.
And you could
asleep
be-
on the shoulder of the Islanders owner.
Hey, you could be banned from a building just like me.
What night is this?
Saturday.
How about we pull a total audible? Instead, we go to the Rangers game on Friday night. I'll get the tickets. Penguins, Rangers.
Just have the most fun Instagram story. What are you guys in high school trying to make people
Yes,
jealous?
this is. Let's go.
All of a sudden, it's Bogusch and Perloff with like Emily Ratajkowski or one of the models that shows
now
up at these
we've
places.
been laughing at Golden at bat. We're not showing our age
It's not
today.
an evolved crew.
Maggie, of course I'd invite you, but obviously you can't go. So it would be Manny, EJ, me, and Bogusch. Friday night, Penguins, Rangers.
Manny Pucks is in the building.
Let's go.
I gotta
And somebody can explain how the rules work to me. It's always fun to go to a hockey game with me.
He's going to fall in and out of love with everybody on the first and second line.
Rule number 1: there is no golden bet.
No.
A Golden Knight, though, that was Perloff's favorite team for that week we were in Vegas.
No. That was the Oilers. They were playing the Golden Knights.
Exactly. All right.
Yeah, I've been a couple times. When I go to Rangers games, I'm usually right up against the glass. It's really fun. Actually, we should totally do that. I would not go Saturday. I'm being dead serious. We'll
Why
all
don't you
go.
double dip? Go Friday
night.
and Saturday.
I think I should go both nights and just go on Saturday and say how great Friday was.
I mean, I know the reality of what Bogusch is thinking because I'm the same way. He does not want to come back into Manhattan on a Friday night when he could just go out to Long Island on a Saturday.
This particular Friday night, Jake would have to come with us because Jake and I have a solo dudes night on Friday because my wife and daughter have plans. So one of those guys has to be out to let Jake be the fourth.
Oh, man. Fight. Sorry, I'm just kidding. I don't want to see you guys fight.
I mean,
got together.
You normally do want to see violence.
No, only if they have mascot suits on. I need to see something bloody.
We could do that before Friday. You get a costume or two.
Miami might need a mascot, so maybe I'm next in line. You see that? DC was hitting on the Syracuse reporter, apparently.
Oh, my God.
The bird?
The bird, yes.
The
no,
ibis?
he's not a bird. He's an ibis, Maggie. And
I'm sorry, is that a mammal? Well, of course it's a bird.
Look, anyway, the ibis was hitting on some Syracuse reporter as our defense was getting shelled. So it was, embarrassments on the field and on the sideline.
The U is back. Was he doing it as a mascot, like miming at her, or did he take his head off and was like,
According to the reporter, the guy, he asked for the girl's number.
I thought they're not supposed to talk.
Right.
I know.
Why is that? That's a crime.
And I'm a little
ask for a
hurt
girl's
because I've
number?
actually had, you guys have seen, I have a relationship with the ibis. We talk on
Yeah.
Twitter. I've talked with the ibis several times. He made sure I told him that it wasn't a costume that he's wearing. It's actually him.
Well, no wonder she turned down the date.
Well, yeah, exactly, right.
Is that inappropriate? Like asking
It's
what's
work. You're at work.
He's a reporter at work, and he's at work.
He's an ibis.
He has an important job. He's actually
He's a bird.
MIA, Miami. He doesn't think the beak.
Is there a code amongst mascots?
He's
that-
at work. Like, have you ever seen an HR video where they're like, you never see, like, you see, like, a generic looking guy. You don't see a guy in a bulldog costume coming up to someone in the coffee room and saying, hey, how come you didn't call me back last night? That's just, it's a different set of standards.
There are no rules?
I just think
Mascots
that,
can
like,
do what they
That would
want?
be so funny
Like-
if it's instead of Bill coming up to Susan being like, hey, you got plans this weekend? It's just an ibis. It's the Hurricanes mascot walking into the break room.
and you said she's a
Hey,
reporter.
are you new?
She's a reporter. It's not like it was the assistant coach who the reporter's going to interview later. It was the ibis.
Come on, man. Sebastian, you're better than that.
I would just love to know, yes.
Yeah,
what
well,
was he
Sebastian's better than that. Oh, okay.
What was he miming to her that would have gotten the point across?
I mean, apparently he wasn't miming. He asked for her number. And the girl's confirmed it. She's already been on Twitter being like, woman, I'm sorry. She's been like, yeah, this happened.
I mean,
It'd be so funny if they're talking. He's like, sorry, hold on 1 second. I got to go out for the halftime show. And all of a sudden, he's doing the Miami stuff.
I don't want to get anyone in trouble, but I did see an incident once. I was at a Phillies game and this young man and a pretty woman walked down the aisle. I swear the Fanatic did 3 pelvic thrusts in her direction. I mean, the Fanatic does
he also
pelvic
does
thrust.
that to the hot dog cart, so I think it's okay.
He got that big tummy out. He just did. I was like, dude, come on. Yeah, I think this is a big area that's been underexplored.
This woman says that Sebastian knelt down in front of her and asked for her number mid-drive.
Oh.
Pay attention, dude.
That's what she said.
Who had the ball, though? And the drives were pretty quick. I mean, Syracuse scored about 3 plays every drive.
No, so you had plenty of time after the game or during the timeout or something. He didn't even have to wait that long. He's not even focused on the game. The whole team was failing on Saturday.
No wonder you guys don't deserve to go to the college football playoff.
Right.
Is he
I bet
really
the
in
Crimson
trouble?
Tide guy is not doing that.
Wait, is he really in trouble? You're joking, right?
I mean, this was like a big.
Is it a headline? He's in trouble?
I don't know if he's in trouble. I mean, does he get the same suspension as Aziz Al-Shaair? Sorry, that
For hit, it's a different kind of hit.
different kind of hit. Less impact.
Also
sounds
illegal,
like.
though.
And by the way, you're the Miami Hurricane. You really need to be hitting on women from Syracuse?
Long distance relationship.
San Antonio, Pearl.
I'm just saying.
I mean,
it's the only cheerleading squad that actually wears sweaters on the sideline because it's so cold.
Cold indoors.
You're the Ibis. You're down in Miami. I mean, come on. Central New York? I'm sorry.
That's where all the hotties are.
I mean, if he's hitting on the Syracuse cheerleaders, what do you think he's doing here in Wake Forest?
Comes out no pants on.
Yeah.
It's like, dude,
Feathers
keep
off.
it together. I don't know if he wears pants. That was just a guess.
Definitely does not.
He's a bird. They don't wear pants.
That's true. 855-212-4227. Not sure why I'm giving the number. Don't call about this. Please.
Or if you have been victimized by a mascot.
We have a hotline for you. It's Manny's cell phone.
San Diego Chicken, though. Gentlemen.
Oh, look, that's right. Maggie tried to cancel the San Diego Chicken.
I thought he got swept up in the Me Too thing.
Now we got the Ibis is going to be swept up. Thanks.
Well-
No, but he deserves it, apparently.
I know. I'm saying thanks, guy.
No, San Diego Chicken totally exonerated. He aged out of it. All right.
Why do you think the Freeze is running so fast? He's running from charges is what he's running from. We should do that.
He's on the lam.
Every mascot's a con. Oh, like Chiefs-aholic.
Yeah.
Robbing banks.
Where do you think he's running? He's learn to run. We
Straight to the parking lot.
Well,
and to the
Chiefs-aholic,
border.
actually. Now, great. Now you're bringing them all
Sorry.
down to the Chiefs-aholic, a
There's an
chronic
actual-
bank robber.
It's an actual mascot who's actually sitting in jail. He's not an official
He's an
mascot.
unofficial. Yeah, he's some dude.
Yeah, if we were going with unofficial mascots who have landed in jail, we'd need another 4-hour show.
I mean, what if the guy in the Broncos who was wearing the barrel had nothing underneath that barrel, was just naked? Cancel him. We could cancel a lot of guys.
That would be you, the inappropriate under the barrel.
Yeah, or inappropriate Halloween costumes on my shoulder.
I think the barrel guy might have been naked. I'm not actually.
I think the soccer guy was naked in this
That's
room
you.
2 Halloweens ago.
That's not naked. It's somehow worse than naked.
Yeah.
It's
Very,
short shorts.
very see-through. Wasn't quite mesh, but it wasn't not mesh. Okay. We have a show announcement. We're going to make that next. Stick around.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Corbuccio wipes the bottom of his sneakers. He's guarded by Lawson. Play in action. Corbuccio gets the screen from Ratliff. Corbuccio driving. Finds Ratliff. Free throw line. Jay. Yes! Clock continues to run. Panthers have one final chance. Here's Kennedy. Kennedy with 5. Step back. Jay.
4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Oh, Josiah Kennedy! Ice cold! Timeout, stepping out!
Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining.
Carbuccio
1 minute,
wipes
30
the
seconds
bottom of his
remaining.
sneakers. He's guarded by Lawson. Play in action. Carbuccio gets a screen from Ratliff. Carbuccio driving. Finds Ratliff. Free throw line. Jay. Yes! Clock continues to run. Panthers have one final chance. Here's Kennedy. Kennedy with 5. Step back. Jay. Yes! Oh, Josiah Kennedy!
1 minute remaining.
Cold. Timeout, stepping it.
– 45 seconds remaining. –30 seconds remaining. –15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. We do have a show announcement, but first some headlines from Andrew Bogish. We didn't get to them last hour because we were too busy talking about the Miami Hurricanes mascot who got caught trying to ask for a phone number while on the job of a Syracuse football reporter.
Got caught. He's a 9-foot bird that got down on a kneeled in front of 60,000 people.
With an oversized pad and pen.
Yeah. It wasn't like he
gigantic cell phone.
surreptitiously got caught.
I'm just delivering the story.
Yeah.
How else would you like me to put it?
Got caught. Oh, my God. This is amazing.
Folks, what's going on in the world?
Your headlines will be brief. They're sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Protect your home and auto. Save when you bundle. Get a quote at progressive.com. Maggie's already read you the NFL statement. Harsh words from VP of Football Operations John Runyon in suspending Texans linebacker Azeez Al-Shire 3 games for Sunday's headshot of Trevor Lawrence. He can appeal. He's expected to do so. If he loses that appeal, though, he's off Houston's roster until Week 17. Monday Night Football, a shootout in Denver. The Broncos winning 41-32, despite Jameis Winston throwing for 497 yards and 4 scores for the Browns. He also threw 3 picks. The first 2 returned for touchdowns. The last one in the end zone on Cleveland's last chance. Denver now has won 3 in a row. They're 8-5 overall. They own the last wildcard spot in the AFC this morning. 2 games clear of all competition. The Browns, meanwhile, 3-9 after losing. The Lakers lost in Minnesota 109-80. LeBron James just 10 points, 4 of 16 shooting. He has missed 19 straight threes now over their last 4 games. And that's all you need to know. Back to you guys.
Okay. Fantastic. Now, we do have a show announcement that we have to make today. Not that we have to make, that we want to make today, that we're excited. We finally get the green light, the go-ahead, the double thumbs up. That it is my pleasure to announce that the one and only Emmanuel Manny Rodriguez has joined the Maggie and Perloff show as a full-time producer on this show. Welcome into the fold, friend.
Let's go.
Wait, what did I sign up for?
Yeah.
What did we sign up for?
Welcome to Hell Week.
Welcome
Just
to the
getting
bottom of the barrel.
What some call a dream job, others call the bottom of the barrel. No. Manny, fantastic job. We're excited that you're a part of the crew. We asked you to pick out your own music for this announcement, and this is what you went with.
I didn't exactly pick this one out. Our awesome EP did. He found some award. My music was Ja Rule's New York. That was my walk-up
Well, that's
song.
what I was expecting, actually.
Can I make a recommendation to any listener out there? If you want the most negative social media feed in the history of the planet, go to @eRodriguezRadio on X for tweets like this. MNF is in break. Let me check on the Rangers. Oh, dear God. Imagine having a quarterback that could do this for the Giants. Maybe it'd be less miserable. What's your problem? Why are you always like, how is it? Why are you so unhappy on X?
It's my diary. That's why. I forget that other people can see that, but you know what? I'm okay with it. Twitter is a diary for me.
It's a running stream of consciousness. Keep it coming. And Manny's sports pain is now going to be our benefit.
What I know
every day.
I know it's called nepotism when family hires family. When Nick Fan hires Nick Fan to create a daily off-air podcast, what do we call that?
Hey.
Networking. That's what we call that.
There you go.
Are you guys starting a podcast? Am I finding out about this for the first time?
That was news to me until Bogus
okay.
put it into the universe.
No. I just walk in there and like, Julius Randle, Charles Oakley. They're just like yelling out Knicks things.
Steve Novak.
Damn, Charles Smith.
Yeah, I mean, EJ's wearing head-to-toe Knick gear today.
Well, they both. Some days you guys come in, you kind of look like a member of the Knicks, like pump-up squad. Like you're in full gear.
Knick City
but
dancers.
This is why you know that Perloff and I can see talent is because we can see through all that to see what's truly underneath all that Knicks gear and Yankee gear and Met gear and whatever else.
Manny,
to see the true genius that you two bring to the show.
Manny, why did you tweet 2 days ago just the Knicks, period? That was all. What did that mean?
Because the Knicks were playing the Pelicans. The Knicks were playing the Pelicans. The Knicks, man. Are you kidding me? Did you watch?
That's it. That's your take.
That's my take. The Knicks.
That was the opinion.
The Knicks.
The Knicks, period. No explanation point? Just
period.
Just establishing that they exist.
It is your birthday, period. The Knicks, period.
I can't picture Manny with winning a title or anything. Like, I'm just so used to him losing. I know you as a fan of losing teams.
I haven't had a good year since 2009. Thank you, Yankees.
Well, considering
that's when I peaked.
All recorded history for you started in the year 2000, it hasn't really been that long.
Yeah, I missed out on the dynasty.
Imagine if you knew that the 90s existed, let alone the 80s. So that is a little of the show announcement and the show news. And
by the way,
all seriousness, we're thrilled.
One more thing. You should have had somebody who you just hung out with break this news, not us.
Yeah. I mean, on Saturday, yeah. I met,
like, why did you have him break it?
Yeah, I should have had Adrian Wojnarowski. I met Adrian Wojnarowski at the Stepanak basketball game, a high school game that I call. The St. Francis from Baltimore was in town, and Adrian Wojnarowski was there doing his St. Bonaventure things, whatever that may be.
Did he look happy?
Yeah. I mean, are you kidding me? It was a great game on Mamaroneck Avenue.
Was he friendly?
Sure.
Like I've never met Woj.
You go from Knicks Warriors and Lakers, T-Wolves to Stepanak, St. Francis, Baltimore.
Suburban New York City watching high school basketball.
Nice guy?
Yeah, taller than I thought he would. His son is tall, too. I met his son, too, Ben.
The whole Woj family.
I've got clout now. I've got clout now.
Yeah.
And my pal, Adrian.
Yeah. We just gave you a full-time job, but the Woj encounter, that's what's giving you the clout.
That's the highlight, yeah.
That's the clout.
Yeah.
That tracks.
You were kind of supposed to book him while you were there, Manny. What happened there?
Don't worry. We've got a laundry list of things that you are now responsible for that we've been hiding from you until you accepted the position.
My mic is cutting out like Perloff.
Just play that music louder, Maggie. Manny, just play that music louder.
All right, so there we go. And, to be fair, we had a lot of really awesome people to choose from, and we appreciate all of them. And we have a great show for you tomorrow, so tune in. Okay, bye.
Corbuccio wipes the bottom of his sneakers. He's guarded by Lawson. Play in action. Corbuccio gets the screen from Ratliff. Corbuccio driving. Finds Ratliff. Free throw line. Jay. Yes! Clock continues to run. Panthers have one final.